Signed veteran running back Cam Akers, who spent the previous 4 seasons with the Vikings and Rams. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health.
A crossover is
crossover dribble.
Sing for the crossover.
Kyrie Irving, crossover in the lane. One of the most famous crossovers of all time.
Behind the back, an ankle breaker on Chris Paul.
The crossover continues to evolve.
All right, time for the crossover, powered by Everlow Concrete Repair in Omaha at everlowconcrete.com. Big Ten Network is delivering the pageantry, the nostalgia. Oh,
yeah, there goes Travion Henderson.
Yeah. Is that Rondane?
It's funny because before they were playing a weird Wisconsin-Ohio State game from last year.
All Reds of Wisconsin.
So yeah, we are loading in, and Mr. Petiti will talk about how they're definitely not going to do any more realignment here in about 5 minutes. Exciting.
That's fair.
Exciting. I hope he doesn't talk about how they're going to do any realignment. I hope he talks about how they're not going to do any realignment.
Wouldn't it be funny, though, if he just went the opposite and said, actually, we've got a lot of news to share with you, so let's get right to it.
The Big Ten is open for business.
Yeah, let's get right to it. Come on. It's going to be no boring conference media day, State of the Union.
Yep.
Going to get after it.
Just
here.
wait till tomorrow when A. Matt Rule talks.
A. Matt Rule.
A. Matt Rule. A. Matt Rule. Who do we got? Mr. Pizzo, Mr. Butt.
So I was trying to get Rick Pizzo on the show yesterday, and he responded yesterday with, no, I'm sorry, I'm tied up all week. Now, I understand that he's anchoring the coverage, but he did wish us a hearty good luck. He said good luck this season.
This season?
Yeah, he said good luck
as in, like, don't hit me up in a couple of weeks?
I think so, yeah. Because I was like, oh, this week you're jammed up. I get that, but is that... so that screws us for the rest of the year? Okay. Well, we don't want to talk to you then.
Yeah, that was a don't call me.
Yeah, that was. Good luck this season.
All right. Which
Lose
one, of you,
my
which one of you guys made him mad on the station?
Yeah.
We should do a list of guests that used to come on that for some mysterious reason do not return texts, calls, anything.
Scott Shanley.
Well,
number one in the power rankings.
Oh,
yeah.
Now that's one of the biggest ghosts.
Oh, really?
He went to Hawaii. We knew he came back, but he never got back to us.
Yeah, he said, "Hey,
I don't see him tweeting much anymore.
I'm going to Hawaii for 2 weeks." He goes, "When I get back, we can resume being on the show."
We should not forget about that. At the end of this year, when Nebraska's record is 10-2, people start just firing off tweets at Scott Shanley. Hey, Scott, how you doing?
Well, we'll give him the platform.
Is this coach any good? What's going on?
He's always got an open.
Do you think you should have hired Coach Prime?
So,
oh yeah,
remember those days?
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, those were awesome. Great times.
That little brief time, like what, about 18 hours that Dion was going to be the Nebraska coach, and there were like,
because Zach Smith went on a podcast and said some things.
Yep.
What are we doing?
Dion had to address that with his team too. That I'm not actually going to Nebraska. Might be going to Colorado.
Nobody thought you were going to Nebraska, Dion.
Maybe question the source on that one.
Oh, that's a great. I don't know what availability we'll have to Coach Sanders like as a group, but that's got to be a question, right? It's the last year that we'll probably see Deion Sanders at Colorado. Go, Coach. Can you walk us through what the process was, your interaction with Trev Alberts?
So, I was sitting down at the table, and then I just decided it really hit me.
Well, Well, you know,
I didn't want to be here.
I was in Lincoln. If he would say that.
That would be great.
Nice.
So
Dave Aranda.
But you know, the thing like is uncomfortable for Shanley. His brother, who is a really good high school coach in Texas, Rule loves. Like Rule uses him as a resource.
Well, what happened with Scott then? What?
I don't know.
Why did he go?
Well, if he'd come back on the show, we'd ask him.
I know.
He just
I remember
hard in the paint.
I remember him defending his take to so many people on Twitter because a lot of people were saying, well, what did Matt Rule do to you?
Yeah, that's kind of
This
how
has
it
got to be
felt.
personal. He's like, absolutely nothing. I said it 100 times. It's nothing that I have personally against him. Like he always emphasized that. But man, he would really dig into it.
He was all the way in on that take.
Yes.
Then he disappeared.
Yeah.
June 3rd, the last tweet from him.
He did come back from
there was
Hawaii,
June 3rd.
though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, we saw him. He was tweeting after Hawaii.
Okay.
So we did know he was back. But yeah, he just.
The only other guy, you know the name Jonathan Genovi, who does the draft for the ESPN?
Oh,
NBA draft.
Giovanni.
Giovanni,
Yeah.
NBA Draft Express. He used to come on all the time. And then just went away. And
Got too big.
Shane would text him and he'd go, he said, lose my number.
Oh, really?
Whoa.
And we never
Wow.
had any bad experience with him. It was always really good.
Wow.
So I don't know if he got us confused with another show, but he told Shane,
smokes.
he goes, lose my number.
Wow. I don't think I've ever gotten anything like that back.
No, I never
Well, we
have
were
either.
like, whoa, we didn't do anything.
Like
And
a simple ghost will work just fine.
Yeah.
Lose my number.
That's kind of harsh.
Yeah, he got big though. You know,
He did.
He got big.
he got screen time.
definitely. Yeah, he's like the big NBA draft guy now.
Damn. That is harsh.
I don't know. I can't think of too many, but I can't really think of any, to be honest with you. There's definitely times where you just don't get responses. And that's okay. That happens. That happens all the time.
Hey, is this just for today, or is this the season that the conference, I think you brought it up yesterday, is sponsored by the bank?
Old National Bank. Yeah, no, this is the
Not Old Trapper.
no old National Bank. Old National Bank. Oh, Tony Petitti's already talking about
Hey, Ryan Day's on the hot seat.
he's already talking about
The commissioner comes right out and says it. I know Ohio State's speaking today.
He already said that the Big Ten is staying in Indy for the next few years for the championship game, which definitely will exist in a few years. And he also shouted out Volleyball Day in Nebraska already.
Nice.
Whoa.
Thank you, Mr. Petitti.
Yeah, he was there.
Whoa.
And now they're probably talking about Caitlin Clark. This is great.
Yep.
before he gets into the
Oh, yeah, there you go.
potatoes.
There's Caitlin Clark.
Jeez.
It's just basically like the State of the Union.
Yeah, it's the victory lap right now.
But you know what? No, this is a football media day. Talk football. Okay.
No.
You got something to talk about.
No, this is the biggest stage he's going to have all year. So
Yeah.
let's talk about
talk
He's
about
got
it.
his own network.
Look at that soccer play or
Looks like field hockey
lacrosse.
or lacrosse. Yeah, you're right. Lacrosse.
Yes, look at the lacrosse.
Well, he's letting the West
Things were
Coast
so much
schools
better in the
know
Big Eight.
what they are now entering into. Look at how good we are at wrestling. By the
And
way,
if you look closer at that Northwestern lacrosse player, you can see the field you'll be playing on for football this year.
that's true, actually.
That's there.
Oh,
See,
boy.
who said this isn't about football?
Yeah. You know what? CBS paid a lot of money to hear the commissioner talk about field hockey and Caitlin Clark on football media day. Talk about football.
Oh, come on, Gary. Lighten up.
It's not.
We
Big
spent
Ten
all year
football
talking
media
about
days.
Caitlin Clark doesn't even play in the Big Ten
Oh.
anymore.
Now we're getting into
She's in the
Olympians.
WNBA.
I believe we're getting into Olympians now.
That's
too.
okay. I got no talk
This is-
about whatever you want to
This
talk
is
about.
the victory lap.
If
This is
Tony
the Big Ten
Petitti
victory
wanted to
lap.
get up there
Hey,
and talk
there's
about
a Big Ten baseball tournament right there.
people
Do you think-
forget.
Do you think Greg Sankey went to Dallas last week and talked about Paul Skeens?
Yes,
I
if he knows what's
we
good for
probably,
him.
just,
Yes,
we
he
probably
should
just
have.
didn't hear about it.
Yep.
Yeah. And Livy Dunn and their budding love.
Hey, speaking of commissioners, remember the year that Scott opted not to give an opening statement?
I do.
I remember.
One of the more underrated parts of that too. Remember the awkward passing of former Big Ten commissioner. Why am I blanking on his name?
Mr.
now?
Kev?
Yeah, Kevin Warren. Remember everybody was getting the straight up, the bro hug and everything, and it was always like a really hearty as the coach came on and Kevin Warren introduced him. He and Scott had a real kind of awkward.
Ooh.
Like,
I don't remember that.
do I shake? Like we should have known right there that this is not going to be good. I just remember I wanted to see how Kevin Warren would treat Scott Frost because remember they were the Renegades the previous year.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
They wanted to play football, man.
I'm not going to critique somebody's hug because I got caught the in-between hug.
That's
where you go up and you
Yeah.
slap hands and then you pull each other in.
Yeah.
And some people like to slap and then you break apart and you hug.
Yeah.
I think you should identify yourself before you actually do it because you get caught in no man's land and it's very awkward.
It is.
There's too many
And it's
different
a half hug.
But the problem is there's so many variations of it now,
I agree.
It just needs to be the
Too much dap.
the handshake and then in. I don't think
So,
there needs to be overthinking this.
But hold the hand.
yeah, hold it. You don't even have to hold the hand.
But that's what he's saying.
Yeah, so I am the hold the hand guy.
Okay.
But I was
Okay, so you bring
recently
them
at
right
an
in.
event where people were, you slap
Yeah, boom, and then
you hug.
I'd like that one.
See,
That's my favorite
I've seen
one.
that one used a lot more. So yeah, I'm more of the slap the hand than go in.
2 arms around, 1 pat on the back with both arms
I think
out of there.
But I think in its heyday, the original bro hug was what Gary does, and that's the pulling them in.
yeah. Or you don't have to pull them in. You could just lock hands and then do a little bit of this.
Do you guys ever do a redo when it's really awkward? You're like, all right, that was weird. Let's do that again. Because I've had to do that before where it's like,
I mean,
this is weird.
it's a daily occurrence where I get caught in the middle. Is it a fist bump? Is it a handshake? Is it a what is it going to be?
You know what? Life was simpler when the high five was more prevalent.
High five.
Just give the high five. Now it's the dap. Like we don't shake hands anymore because
Nope.
of COVID and
You think people were just
and
like
Bin
walking
Laden.
down the street and high fiving each other though?
Yeah,
People
high
were
five.
people were
When-
shaking hands.
When was the last time that you did not get like you in a feel good mood on a high five? Like you're walking by a stranger in the hallways at NRG Media and they go with the high five. You're happy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
there are certain moments for a high five, and these moments that you're describing, I don't think call for one.
We
Hey,
need-
great to see you. It's been a long time. High five? I don't think so.
We need more happiness. Why can't we bring back the high five?
Yeah, like Putty as the car salesman in
Are you-
Seinfeld.
Are you insinuating that the bro hug and the dap is not happy?
Because it's too much. You don't know.
Well,
you
it
don't
could-
know which one you prefer. And so
And
the
it
next
could be
thing you
a
know,
somber thing,
you're
too.
hugging somebody who is, like a couple of feet taller than you, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden I'm in between and I'm patting them on the hip.
Well,
And
okay.
I'm like, oh, I'm done. I've lost my man card.
You are right, though, Gary, because, okay, no, this is not to get too dark on you, but if you guys say you run into some old friends, maybe you're at a funeral and you still do go in for the bro hug because it can be a very somber, like, hey, what's up, man?
It's just
Nobody
softer.
high fives at a funeral. Not like, hey, what's up, buddy?
No,
You're not high fiving at a funeral.
time and
It's a
place.
celebration of life.
Yeah.
Maybe that person had a great life and you want to celebrate. So you're like, hey, high
the-
five.
the high five
Hey,
and that-
remember when we were with Gerald and we were out on the back patio drinking?
High
That was a great
five.
time.
I feel like the bro hug's probably a little bit more appropriate in those circumstances. I don't see a lot of high fiving going on at funerals.
It's maybe just you could even somberly shake a hand. If you
Yeah,
want.
like a shake. Yeah, just like,
I just
hey,
think
hey, how are you?
there's a lot of variations of this, and maybe each one of them has a time and place, and it's up to you to read the room and decide which one works for you.
When was the last time you shook hands with somebody?
Oh, I mean, it's like
Mm.
it's like a daily occurrence. Yeah, I shake hands with somebody.
Like who today?
I don't know, not today. It's 10 o'clock. I haven't shaken hands with anybody yet.
You get up and you see your lovely wife and you're like,
No, I wouldn't shake hands with my wife.
Good morning,
I'm-
Mrs. Happer.
I'm guessing over the course of a week, more dap than shake.
Probably the most used for me is the fist bump. Just a simple fist bump, no engagement, just the fist bump.
Did the fist bump exist before COVID?
Yes,
Yeah, it did. Yeah, totally.
It
Okay.
existed. It was just different.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better. It's better. Now.
It was
It's more
actually
used
seen
now.
as more of a cool thing. Now it's more. Well,
the fist bump
it's
is
practical.
the fist bump stock has gone way up.
it has.
It's easy.
Way
Yeah.
up.
You don't have to overthink it.
It's like Dogecoin.
Well, and
Way up, and then kind of back down.
You're into that. Huh? You're into that. Huh?
I've noticed.
Not at all.
So after doing an entire summer of t-ball, the kids love the knucks.
Yeah.
The 3 to
Yeah.
4 year olds love the knucks. You're not getting a handshake, even a high five. They're into that, but if you give them knucks, you're completely. That's the icebreaker right there.
A good poll question up at Happer Show: is the fist bump the Dogecoin of DAP? I think so. I would vote yes.
You
on
don't
that.
get the show.
I would vote yes on that. Certainly. Yeah, a lot of things you can do. I'll be, because I think the first coach that Mr. Petiti will turn it over to will be Bigelow. Mr. Bigelow.
Correct.
So what will the engagement in that one be like in about 15 minutes? We'll see.
I think that's a hug.
Let me turn it off to our biggest coach.
Let's go through
Last
this.
year he was wearing a big orange jacket. How many X's on that jacket, Gary?
Well, let's see.
6?
Well, what would it be a 60?
That was a big orange. He's a big orange man.
So, do you think that Petiti has like you see players in baseball in the field, they have their little cheat sheet on where to line up?
Yeah.
Do you think Petiti has an 18 lettered cheat sheet on what coaches prefer? Like if they're huggers, or if they're dappers, or if they're handshakers, or if they're just, as I walk by, I pat them on the back.
Yeah, I think it has to be organic. It
can't be Adam Silver and you just hug everybody.
This is one of the things that you have to be good at as the commissioner. When the Big Ten's looking around and they're trying to hire a person, they're finding their right guy. Is like, I don't know how you have to watch the tape. That's all you have to do.
Sorry, Coach Loxley, I got you down for a bro hug. You're taking this bro hug.
Have you guys ever encountered this? I think this is more of a power move, and someone's really trying to, again, just have a powerful presence. You go with the handshake, but that's not enough because, the right hand is occupying, the other hand for the handshake, and then they bring the left hand in on the top of your elbow. So they do that.
What
So
do they
here,
do
let me
with it?
demonstrate like this.
Yeah.
Okay. They put that hand there. It's almost, I think, to really exude power.
Sometimes I put the hand on top of the other hand. And then it's three hands.
Boom. Like that's when you're like, so great to either meet or see you.
That's the funeral handshake.
No, it's not
it
somber.
Kind of is kind of the.
It's not that. It doesn't have to be somber.
We're all in this together.
It's all about the mood
We're
around
all here. We're all here for the same thing here.
Depends on how the person died.
Was it
Jet
tragic?
skiing accident?
Yeah,
long illness. You react differently. Well, he went out jet skiing. He would have been very happy going out that way.
So then you go high five.
High five.
Nice.
Wow.
Or we need to go back to the Canseco McGuire, the Bash Brothers.
Oh yeah. Boom.
I love that move.
I feel like that started to creep back in a little bit during COVID.
Oh no, it's back. Yeah.
So we're getting a little bit more of the.
Yeah, they're locking elbows with the. Yeah.
Then you get the one leg up too, and then to get a little hop. I know the Bash Brothers didn't do that, but I feel like they're doing a little more of that.
Josh,
a lot of options.
So with Deadpool and Wolverine coming out, does it seem like they're doing more marketing than they've done for?
There's another Deadpool movie.
They're together. They're like friends.
I'm sure a lot of people in this room. You remember in the '90s how movies were marketed? Just a nonstop barrage. Like you couldn't go anywhere without this. That's how this movie is being marketed.
They got commercials like
product and Heineken pizzas, like all sorts of.
Yeah.
Oh, they're putting stuff in the movies now.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if
it's in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know if like Heineken's going to show up in the movie,
but they're doing commercials.
Okay.
Which, back in the day, when Twisters comes out, and they really, even though Ram trucks are like huge, they really didn't do any pre-publicity. Now they're doing all kinds of publicity.
Yeah.
What's the pay for that look like? Does Deadpool and Ryan Reynolds have to split it? Or whatever company makes Deadpool.
Marvel.
Like Disney, do they have to split it with Heineken?
Yeah. No, that's like when he goes to represent Heineken as Deadpool. Does Ryan Reynolds own the rights to Deadpool? I doubt it.
I don't think so.
He can't just walk around being Deadpool.
Yeah.
But the way the commercial is built, I mean, it's specific to like Wolverine and.
Well, that's cool. That's great. I'm here for marketing.
Will it be north of 80.5 million, which Twisters did?
Yes.
Like blow it away.
Got to get 100 the first weekend, right? I know it's R-rated, and that's a little different, but
it is.
Hotly anticipated.
I'm now seeing a thank you to Michael Snow for tweeting this at me. Apparently, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman did a commercial for an Xbox controller that has a butt on the back of it.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain this, Josh? Have you seen this?
I have seen the controller. The back is shaped to look like Deadpool's butt.
Got it.
So you are caressing that as you're playing
America's
whatever game.
ass.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully America's new ass.
We had America's ass for a long time.
We did. Now we need a new ass.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds, apparently. I don't know. I like
mean,
Ryan
you could
Reynolds.
do worse, even though he is Canadian, but
Oh,
that's true.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Hugh Jackman's not American.
definitely not.
Australian?
Yes, correct.
Got it.
Well, the lead actress in Twisters is not American.
Who's that?
Was her Paige?
She's got 3 names, right?
Yeah.
There's a hyphen in there somewhere.
She's really good, but
Daisy Edgar Jones? Is that a person?
Daisy Edgar Jones.
Yes, that's right. That's
Okay.
her. I don't know why I said Paige, but it is kind of startling because you have no sense that she has an accent in the movie.
Love that. Love when that happens.
But then all of the publicity they're doing, like I've seen a lot on TikTok, she's just normal and she's talking normal. So she has her accent. And you
Bloody hell!
You go, what? How?
Who's that?
That's impressive that you're able to do whole movies and you're able to do it in an American accent.
What is up with this cast, man? There's nobody in this movie.
Oh, no.
What movie?
In Twisters.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah, Glenn Powell.
That's America's Next Top Movie Star, my friend.
Okay, but the rest, I mean, you know.
It's got the guy from Hamilton.
Ramos.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So he is.
Maybe I don't know what a movie
Anthony
star
Ramos
is anymore.
like Anthony Ramos almost has as big a part as Glenn Powell in this movie.
All right, here's Anthony Ramos. Yeah, I never seen that guy before. All right.
I mean, that doesn't surprise anyone.
Well, but I mean, you know, I am I'm a really good consumer to grab the pulse of because
absolutely.
I am the American man.
I don't expect anyone to know who Anthony Ramos is.
Exactly. And so if you're marketing this movie to the common American man, I don't know if you're doing a great job.
Well, because you're marketing it to the
put Tom Hanks in it.
You're marketing it to the American woman.
Put Denzel Washington in it. Then I'll go watch it. Not any of this crap.
Let's
Gladiator 2, y'all be
this guy was in Hamilton, right?
Yeah. Hey, let's visit this.
I saw you in the parking lot earlier.
That's where I remember.
What would Twisters with Tom Hanks and Denzel Washington in it?
It would be way better.
My God.
It would be way better.
Well, and we all saw Denzel in a similar movie called Unstoppable with a Train. Now
that was awesome.
Replace Train with Tornado.
What?
Hey,
why did we
remember that time
lose
I
this?
tried to get you fired for having AIDS? I'm sorry.
It's
a Philadelphia reference.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they both were in that. Yeah.
It's a Philadelphia reference. Look it up.
Somewhere along the way, we lost our way in movies. People started thinking that they could make a movie that would be so interesting from a plot perspective. And what they didn't realize is that nobody cares about the stupid plot. They just want to watch the actors. I just want to watch Tom Hanks in a movie.
I don't think you're far off.
That's all I care about.
Well,
put Denzel Washington on a train and have nonsense.
Yes,
happen.
Unstoppable was a perfect example.
Put Denzel Washington on a plane. Make Denzel Washington drunk on a plane. This is awesome. I will watch that movie.
Anyone else stars in Unstoppable. It's just absolute crap.
Yeah, it's garbage, but it's Denzel.
We lost it. Yeah. We lost our compass.
Chris Pine was fine in it, but it was Denzel. I mean, it was typical Denzel.
See, Chris Pine was in that movie, and I didn't even remember that.
Yes, he was.
I just remember Denzel and the train. Those were the two main characters. Give me Denzel.
Yep,
there was a whole
Train.
movie, Castaway.
That Train's been another movie.
It was just
too.
Tom Hanks by himself and a volleyball sometimes.
Yeah.
That's it.
And you watched
that movie was awesome. I've seen that movie 40 times.
It is a great movie. You're right.
Incredible movie.
The isolation of that tells you the popularity and real just overall abilities of an actor.
The Tennessee Titans?
Yeah. Wait a minute. The Oilers became the Titans? This is very odd.
Anybody else, though, in that when he's in the hotel and there's all that food that he leaves uneaten?
Yeah.
Gosh, dang, man. Eat more of that.
He just wanted to drink the water and eat the ice chips.
I wanted all the food that they had.
I like that. My favorite part of that movie is the very last scene where it's him at that crossroads and it's a metaphor for a crossroads of life.
And then he meets a gal.
Well, but like the very last picture in the movie is just a close up on Tom Hanks' face. And he's not looking, and he's just kind of looking off into space. I have a picture of it somewhere because I think it's a great end to a movie. He just stares and then it zooms in on him and then the movie ends. That's what movies are, folks. Josh, tell me I'm wrong.
In theory, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what most people want.
But I guess
I want a known commodity to star in a known commodity.
Mm-hmm.
And
to
look pretty.
your point, the when he you have that lasting moment where it's just the actor by himself. Christmas Vacation, when all the chaos and the SWAT team and everybody, they're all partying inside. He's outside and he looks up at the star and says, "I did it."
that is
he pulled
true.
it off.
A classic.
See? So there you go. There's a moment right there.
That movie didn't have to be anybody else. There was 100 people in that movie, but guess what? Chevy Chase
wouldn't have been the same. Would not. Could Tom Hanks pull that one off? Well, actually, probably could have. If Tom Hanks is Clark Griswold,
could Tom Hanks have been?
I don't think Tom Hanks could be Clark Griswold.
Clark Griswold.
No, I don't think he could.
Oh,
actually, kind of maybe.
I mean, he was, he's goofy and big.
Yeah, I think maybe actually.
I think it would have been a little more exaggerated a performance from Tom Hanks.
Probably, yeah.
But I think we would have liked it, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's Tom Hanks, so of course we would have.
Now everybody thinks that they could blow people away with their very interesting concepts and plots and things like that. Everyone thinks they're smarter than everybody else. Guess what? You're not, because what the American person wants is Tom Hanks.
We can't afford Tom Hanks.
We
but what if
need
I
it.
wrote a really good movie? No.
Not an option. Not an option. Now, when you really have gold is when you put Tom Hanks in a really great movie.
Yeah, they should do that again.
Yeah, they should do that again.
Tom Hanks in Star Wars.
Oh,
It doesn't have to be Star Wars. That's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to be Star Wars or a Marvel movie or Deadpool. It doesn't have to be any of those. Or a remake of anything for that.
Would
matter.
Tom Hanks pull
Just
off
make
Twisters?
a good movie.
Could he be in Twisters though?
I don't know. I never saw Twister or Twisters.
Twister. Could he have been the Bill Paxton?
I guess I kind of get what's happening though in the movie.
Could Tom Hanks been the extreme?
Apart from the title.
Were there some tornadoes?
By the way, is Glenn Powell referred to as the extreme?
No.
Okay, good. There's only one extreme, and he's no longer with us. So
he's really good in it.
His character name is Tyler Owens, who is a famous storm chaser on the internet.
YouTuber.
Not Reed Timmer.
Because if you feel it, you gotta chase it.
Oh, really?
Oh, is that that's the thing, huh?
Yeah, he's got a line.
Sweet.
Hey, so tell me about this, Gary. So their team is called the Storm Par team.
So that's not Glenn Powell's team, it's the other one.
So is that some sort of a joke?
No.
Because you flip those letters around and all of a sudden you're saying a very different thing.
Yes.
Storm Par. Nobody gets it? Porn star?
Oh,
okay.
Get your mind out of the gutter, Connor.
Storm Par.
Not even noon.
Sorry.
No, they are
I haven't dapped anybody up yet.
Competing group of storm chasers.
Like the first one, where you had the guys that are a little more high tech.
I can't tell you more
Carrie
because
Ellis.
it'll ruin part of the plot.
That's
of
okay. I'm probably not
why
gonna
they're
see it.
different from the YouTubers.
Some of us are going tonight.
Carrie Ellis with a sneaky bad Oklahoma accent in Twister.
Joel writes in, he says, The Money Pit, a very comparable Tom Hanks.
That
Clark
would be,
Griswold role.
very, very good call there. Yeah, Money Pit was good.
Never saw Money Pit. I'm interested. It's got Tom
It's better
Hanks
than
in it.
it's better than the Burbs.
What if Tom Hanks was in trouble with the curve?
I don't know. That's a great question.
He was the scout that kept falling and tripping over things.
I do like Justin Timberlake, and I still hated that movie. And I think Amy Adams is fine.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's nothing like, oh yeah, Amy Adams.
No, I don't really get it.
Tom Hanks has been in bad movies, according to you. Yes.
I don't know, man. The Terminal was incredible.
I wasn't a fan of the Burbs.
That was a good movie.
Great
Did you see
movie.
Othello?
Burbs was just not. Yeah.
No, there are some Tom Hanks movies, of course, that I have not seen.
He died in that movie.
News of the World.
Actually,
Bad Tom Hanks.
Need we
movie.
forget Tom Hanks can pull off? I said Big as a kind of a goofy guy. Bachelor Party. Tom Hanks is just off. He's off the chain in Bachelor Party.
Is
Bosom Buddies?
Oh,
it's one of his better movies.
Which one was Bachelor Party?
Nick.
That's a character, Nick the something.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Should we just call you Nick, or is it Mr.?
Mr. Is it
Rhymes
Nick
with
or
Nick.
Mr. Yeah.
I get it. No, I get what you guys are
Nick?
Yeah.
Nick the what? The
That
That.
wasn't the one where they were all old, right? And they went to Vegas.
That's Las
No,
Vegas.
no.
I don't believe he was in Las Vegas.
No.
He was getting close.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he was in that.
I'm pretty sure it's
That's Morgan Freeman.
yeah, I think Morgan Freeman lost a bet to be in that one.
Connor,
Yeah.
you saw Elvis. That has Tom Hanks in it.
I
and-
did see Elvis. He did not do a great job in
did
Elvis.
Not. He
No,
did not.
there was just too much going on for his character in that movie, probably. But what a performance by Austin Butler.
Guys, I got an email from the Masters. Should I open it?
You didn't get it?
Let's see.
Drum roll.
Rooting for you, buddy. Rooting for you.
Unfortunately, your entry was not selected this year.
If we die, we die.
That's how I feel now.
Yeah.
You
We all
get-
had hope.
So we're all out
Yep.
for the Masters.
We're all out for
Yep.
the Masters.
Yep. Damn it.
I
Looks
guess-
like I get another $165 pimento cheese sandwich bundle from them next April. Exciting. Very
I
exciting.
hope it was worth it.
And I appreciate the people that do win that wait like a couple of days before they publicly announce they
Very
won.
classy.
Yeah.
You know what though? I'd be mad. I'd be mad if I won, but it was like to Tuesday or something
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
I
I'd be
know.
triggered.
Yeah.
I'm not going to kid you. I've thought about that too. Like, what if you get screwed and you get like Monday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't going on Monday.
And people are just showing up like you've probably been there for 5 hours and all of a sudden here comes John Rahm. He just showed up.
I mean, I'm definitely going still, but I'm going to be mad about it. You know?
Yeah.
I'm going to very loudly say,
Yeah,
"Oh, there's nothing happening."
Yeah. You're just going to play a 9-hole practice round? Are you kidding me? Yeah. I don't think I'd Tuesday be okay, but yeah, Monday would be the worst.
All right. Well, it's almost Bielema time.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Well, what do they have to talk about?
Bert?
What happened? Last
$4
year?
hot dogs.
What?
$4 hot dog special.
I'd say what the hell happened last year? They were kind of on a nice little pace, and then
You got Nebraska.
That
they did.
Friday in Lincoln. How's it going to be?
Oh yeah, 400th consecutive sellout.
That'll probably be a question, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. Sure.
One member of the Nebraska media
I
is
think,
going to be like,
well, we just talked to Andy, and he's there. He's ready to rock and roll. So
Oh.
he'll probably rip one of those.
see, have you ever gotten up at the media days and got one of the mics at the big stage?
No.
I haven't either. I've never felt the need to.
You know, I probably would if they wouldn't show you on TV.
Really?
They do, yeah.
I actually think that's a perk.
I don't like to be on camera. You like to take pictures of yourself. I don't.
I feel like if you knew where the camera
People take pictures
was,
of me.
too, you look right at the camera first and be like,
Yeah.
and then direct your question to them.
It's not obvious where the cameras are though. They do a good
I'm
job
sure.
of yeah.
Now, the one thing about the Big Ten Media Days with the cameras being on the people that are asking questions, quite a few of those people come on this radio station as guests, and you never know what they look like.
Yeah.
And then you see them there, and you're like, oh,
This will be great for our graphics department. We can
Yeah.
put their pictures on when
like
they
I
come
never,
up.
I never knew what Tim
Very
May looked
clutch.
like. Always talk to Tim May.
Yeah.
I see Tim May on TV, and I'm like, oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Here he comes waddling
Oh.
down the tunnel.
no tie on. That's right.
Not even a big orange jacket this year. He threw on the suit jacket. Maybe that was. I also like Big Ten Media Days because every coach is so tan. Everyone's so
Yeah.
tan. By the way, did you guys see Steve Phillips yesterday while we were talking?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
he
Steve-
looks insane.
Yes.
He's going to be able to check a different box.
What?
on
How,
his DMV forms.
how old is he? How old
I
is
don't
he?
know. He's been around a long
He
time.
looks like George Hamilton.
Is there a better manicured white goatee
61.
than what's okay?
61.
But
He's
it's-
had white hair as long as I can remember.
He has, and it's. I mean, it's regal. It's
He is-
glorious.
Yeah. You got to drop the tan a level though.
I think he. I
Bump
think
that down
I
from
think
8
he
to
places
6.
a pre-made goatee on his. There's no unevenness at all,
Do you
and it's
think
always
it's-
the same length.
Do you think
He's in with this guy every 4
He
years.
Yes.
just out
Oh,
and
yeah.
about, or do you think he's a tanner?
I don't know. It's pretty.
I think he's out and about.
Links.
Yep.
Yeah, he's probably a golf guy.
Big
But
golfer.
if he was in the bed, just
You don't need to go to the tanning bed anymore. Just go like to Target and get the spray on. It
knock
actually
it-
works
just
pretty well.
Knock it down a couple.
Did you guys ever see the gal that he got in trouble with at ESPN?
Oh no,
No, I don't think I did.
No.
I didn't even know that happened.
You're not going to be impressed.
Wow.
Almost like it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Not that it ever
So
is.
what you're saying, if you're going to lose your job,
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah, I mean, anything we're doing right. That wasn't shocking when I saw this.
All right.
Like,
Okay.
wow. Anyway,
All right.
I'll leave that one alone.
yeah,
Okay.
look it up on your own device.
See you guys later.
Bye.
That's the crossover powered by Every Level Concrete Repair in Omaha at everylevelconcrete.com. It's Tuesday. We'll start things off next.
It's the Connor Happer Show. Are we sure we want to do this?
Could you, make an announcement that we're ready?
It's the Connor Happer Show on 1620, The Zone.
All right, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. It is the Connor Happer Show. You're on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. Connor Happer, Josh Hodson with you as Media Days gets underway. I believe that Brett Bielema has been on stage now for 6 to 7 to 8 minutes, is still in his opening statement from what I'm putting together on Twitter.
That's the way to do it.
All right, way to go, Brett.
Whittle that clock down.
Let's cut off those 7 minutes. I know the next press conference starts at 10:45, so let's
just gonna jabber.
Say what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna get the good word out there about Illini football. So that's how we start at Media Days today. Press conferences from Mr. Bielema, David Braun, Ryan Day, Ryan Walters, Greg Schiano, and Luke Fickell. It's basically Ohio State Day at Big Ten Media Days today. And then, of course, tomorrow, It will be Iowa, Michigan State, Nebraska, Penn State, UCLA, and USC. Nebraska's press conference with Matt Rule will happen at 11:30 tomorrow morning, and you'll be able to hear that live right here on this very program.
In its entirety.
So we'll have that for you tomorrow. We'll keep you up to date of anything we hear today from Media Days. Tony Petitti has spoken already. They're not expanding, but they are considering moving various championships to various other places.
Oh, you got 4 West Coast schools coming in. You can't be an Indy for everything.
Have no fear. The Big Ten baseball championship is secure in Omaha for a few more years.
Nobody wants it.
Have no fear. The Big Ten football championship is secure in Indianapolis for a few more years. But outside of that, I think we are moving around. How soon before the Big Ten basketball tournament is in Vegas? I think within the next 3 years would be my guess.
Seems likely.
I don't know what we have scheduled out at this point for the Big Ten basketball tournament, but that's been showed over a long period of time now that they don't have a problem with moving that to various different places. It was in Madison Square Garden one year. That wasn't weird. It was in Washington, D.C. one year. That wasn't weird. So they gave Rutgers and Maryland their bones, and now they're going to throw the West Coast schools theirs as well. So welcome to the Big Ten, to our new West Coast brethren who will 2 of them will go tomorrow, USC and UCLA, and then Oregon and Washington to finish off the day on Thursday. All right, welcome to the show today. Speaking of the Big Ten and Brett Bigelow, who's I think still in his opening statement, Bob Asmussen will join today as we continue on with summer school. The Illini will visit Lincoln on a Friday night in September for the 400th consecutive sellout. Not a great year last year for Illinois. What happens to them now that we no longer have the Big Ten West, a division that Illinois looked pretty well prepared to be able to kind of hang around in? Now we go a little bit wider, and we'll see what happens with the Illini this year.
We'll get that a fat joke?
We'll get Brett Bigelow does tend to get a little bit wider as we go along. Yeah, not purposefully, but yes.
Okay.
By the way, have you seen Illinois' schedule this year?
You know what? I have not. No.
Here's a sampling.
Okay.
They welcome in Kansas in the second week of the season this year. That's number 22 Kansas to you. They head to Nebraska on a Friday. Week after that, they head to Penn State. They get Michigan at home. They go to Oregon. And they go to Rutgers. As well. A little tricky in terms of that schedule this year. So we'll see what the Illini look like. Text from the 402.
Hi, 402.
Is Brett wearing a tracksuit and sandals? No, he appears to be rocking the suit jacket, no tie, the Illini lapel pin, and he didn't go with the big orange jacket this year, interestingly enough. All right, so once again, we'll keep you updated from all the things at Media Days. Tony Petitti speaking. We'll have a few things on that as we go on throughout the show today. So Bob Asmussen will join at 12:30. Jacob Bigelow at 1 o'clock. That's the lineup, powered by the referees at John Higgins Weather Guard. Like to hear from you guys, 402-951-1620. On the 42 Degrees Source hotline, you can call or text that number. Tweet at Happer Show, at Connor Happer on the JTech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor or Josh Show at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. Elsewhere, actually, I should say that we'd like to welcome our YouTube streaming audience as well. Tony is the only person who's making comments this morning so far.
Morning, Tony.
Jump in the chat, everybody. Tony is not enjoying my taste in movies, also not enjoying spell check, how to spell things correctly.
Maybe he does think it is a good thong that you don't make movies.
So, I mean,
that you're not going to get the red squiggly under that because thong is a word.
That's true. That is true. Okay, so maybe I shouldn't cast any doubt upon Tony's ability to spell things or just use spell check. But yes, please send in a comment there on a YouTube, or You can watch us live all day long, 6A to 6P on zonetv.live. Elsewhere on the show today, I have a Husker football topic for you. Concerns and things you feel good about. Almost locks, I guess, if you will. Things where you could say at the beginning of this football season, I know that this is going to happen, or I know that this is going to get better. Or things where you'll say, gosh, I really just don't know about this piece of Nebraska football, whether it pertains to the schedule or the individual personnel. Josh has even made signs. There you go. Look at Josh right there. Put him up on the board. Concern lock. Also, we're going to keep Josh up there. We're also playing MLB reaction, overreaction today. Josh has made signs for that too. Reaction, overreaction. These in no way will be memeable.
No way. Let me get this Big Ten logo off the screen here. No way you can just have me with.
That won't be a meme at all.
No one would screenshot this for comedic effect on Twitter.
Go back to the other one that says concern.
Surely this will not come back around during Nebraska football season.
Nebraska's down 14-0 to Illinois in the second quarter on the Friday night. Here's Josh. Concern. No, you gotta look at the camera straight up. Yeah.
Like a hostage video.
That's it. Yep. So, Josh has even made props, which he always goes the extra mile for this show. So, concerns and locks, MLB reaction, overreaction. We'll jump into some things that were said by the various coaches today. NBA media rights deals? ? And
what's happening? What's the most businesses have a deadline for things.
I don't know what the plan is there. And I realized that there was live sports on our television last night, aside from the amazing and fantastic Kansas City Royals, which we'll definitely talk about today. But the United States was playing basketball against Germany, and Josh said, I asked yesterday, so what's the deal? They almost lost to South Sudan, and Josh was like, yeah, it's really no big deal, whatever. I don't think they were really trying all that much. And so I tuned in last night, and I was a little surprised to see that it was a very close game, and it just kept on getting closer and closer and closer, and then the USA kind of pulled away at the end. Is it the same excuse today?
Dennis Schroeder, Danny Tice.
Did they try last night, Josh? Is this like an SEC bowl game situation?
I don't know.
Concern? Put up the concern sign for USA basketball. There we go. Put them up right now. Concern.
Prove me wrong, LeBron. Prove me wrong.
LeBron is going to be carrying the torch.
The flag.
The torch, or the flag.
Snoop Dogg will be carrying the torch.
Out of all the Olympians of all the time,
there's over 500 of them.
We picked Mr. Dog, Mr. Snoop Dogg.
This Olympics is going to look a lot different because it is the first where NBC has said, you know what?
We're going all in on the wacko.
We're going for ratings. We're going for memeability. We're going for
clicks.
Yeah.
Dan Lanning would not like these Olympics because they are definitely playing for clicks. Mm-hmm. So, are you
excited for Kelly Clarkson and Peyton Manning to cover the opening ceremonies Friday with Mike Tirico?
Is that what is this? A New Year's Eve show?
Kind of. Are you excited for the host of Call Her Daddy to
that's right.
Host an
the sex show
night show of Olympic highlights?
Definitely it'll be about Olympic highlights.
Definitely.
For sure.
She won't be trying the anti-sex beds every night.
I saw that some of the workers are striking already.
Sure.
Like, they have all the dancers and things like that for the opening ceremonies. They're like, hey, nobody is paying us, or they're paying us very little. I'd like to not do this anymore. So they're striking. We love the Olympics.
Seems like we do this every time.
We definitely do. Off and running on a Thursday. We'll keep you updated. Greg Schiano, one of my favorite coaches in the Big Ten. I'm high on Rutgers. I got a Rutgers Scarlet Fever, Josh.
Oh no, that sounds serious.
Right. It's really serious. Okay. It's really serious. And I don't know what the prescription. There might not be a cure to this disease. because I have the Rutgers fever.
Have you tried more cowbell?
They might go 10-2. I don't know. I'm excited to see where Rutgers falls in our 1620 The Zone media poll this year that will be released on Thursday or Friday. Date TBD at this point. But I'll tell you what, I had them pretty high. Also at Big Ten Media Days today, Oregon has decided to get in on the fun. They have placed a gigantic inflatable duck on the river near Lucas Oil Stadium. These are the shenanigans that I can get behind, Josh. I like this. Good job by Oregon.
Yeah, I need more of this from other teams and other conferences.
So
Oregon has metaphorically planted their flag.
Exactly. That is a giant duck.
Giant
duck. And unfortunately, it's being caught up by a bridge. It can't go past the bridge. So it's just kind of floating around next to a bridge in Indianapolis. But the picture that was taken from a couple blocks away, it looks like a nice little city. You got a river. It's a nice morning in Indianapolis. The sun is coming up over the town. There's like a Topgolf in the background. You're like, wow, what a nice little town. And then there's big giant duck in the middle of the river. Exciting.
Hi, Puddles.
Shout out to Oregon for bringing some fun to this conference. It's about time somebody does it. All right, off and running on a Tuesday. We will come back, get into things. I am probably not going to be able to go 5 more minutes without talking about Bobby Witt Jr. So let's just not delay the inevitable. Coming up on 1620 The Zone. Here's Greg Schiano at Big Ten Media Days. Quote, "There's two great thieves in this world, the past and the future."
Oh.
We are so back.
John, I'm sorry. Your summer's over.
it's yeah. Coaches are talking about how the past and the future are rat poison, the media is bad, and they don't care about preseason prognostications because it's all about our guys in that locker room. Woo-hoo-hoo, baby. We are cooking with gas at Big Ten Media Days. One more from Schiano. "We've been playing football longer than anyone on the planet, but we haven't been playing at this level. It's time to get going. It's time to make a mark." I don't even know what that means, but I'm into it.
Birthplace of college football.
That's true. They have been playing football longer than anybody on this planet, but they haven't been very good at it. But now's the time, according to Greg Schiano. Wow, exciting stuff. Also, if you'd like to see Josh screenshotted with the various reactions, his new props that we've added to the set.
Really glad I cut my hair this morning.
I was going to tell you, whenever you get a haircut, you cut your own hair, right?
I do, yes.
Yeah. You usually tend to miss a spot.
I do. Did I miss one?
Right at the top of your head.
That's usually right where it was.
Right at the top.
Okay.
That's okay. No big deal.
Price is right.
The price is real good.
Real good.
So if you'd like to see Josh and save that to your meme folder, please feel free to do so at Happer Show or at Connor Hamper on Twitter. There's two signs, one with Josh saying overreaction and one with Josh saying concern. So those are both out there for you.
You will need those this football season.
You will definitely need them. So get your work in now.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you need to do. I know it's Big Ten Football Media Days, but you gotta let me cook here real quick.
Oh,
yeah, Josh, I'm afraid that the Royals are good. I'm very afraid.
No, you were very concerned.
Yes,
like 3 weeks ago.
Yes, and it's amazing what 3 wins against the Chicago White Sox will do. Just play them all the time.
Now they're done with the White Sox, right?
Incorrect. They play them 3 more times.
3 more, okay.
Starting next week. So we're going to get 3 more. The Royals have already surpassed their win total from a year ago. It took them 101 games to do so this year. That would be the 3rd fastest to surpass a previous year's win total in Major League Baseball history. Only behind... let's see if I can pull it up here real quick. Only behind the 2004 Tigers and the 1989 Baltimore Orioles. The 2004 Tigers, it only took them 89 games to do better than they did the previous year, or to match what they did the previous year. The Royals took them 101. They're firmly in playoff contention, but that is not the story from last night. It is our dear, dear savior, Bobby Witt Jr., who is the hottest player on planet Earth. He is magma hot, as Rex Hudler likes to say. Hit it.
Liquid hot magma.
He is liquid hot magma. Thank you to Dr. Evil.
Liquid hot magma.
Liquid hot magma. 12 of 16 since the All-Star break. He has the highest F-WAR in baseball. We'll address his MVP candidacy in Baseball Reaction Overreaction today. But if you notice, Josh, I am happy about this today. Also, he had a triple, a double, and a home run, a grand slam, in fact, all before the 5th inning last night. And then he came up to the plate in the 6th, and he was promptly hit on the first pitch. And then people were angry. Salvador Perez said some bad words in Spanish. Yelled at people. The Royals hit a guy back. Are they? And then I really started to get the feelings, Diamondbacks aren't that bad, but nobody hits our guy.
Defending NL champs.
Our captain got after him pretty good. It was like, no, you can't. He was going for a cycle. All he needed was a single. You can't hit him. I don't care if he did it on accident. I don't care if he did it on purpose. It's obviously especially worse if you and the Royals seem to think that he did do it on purpose. It was total BS either way, but the yelling ensued. And I tell you what, as a Royals fan, it just started making me think about the edge those 2014 and 2015 teams had. They played with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They feel like they had been aggrieved, and they feel like they could play amongst the big boys, and they weren't being respected amongst the big boys. And last night, I started to feel a little bit of that. They have the best player in baseball. They have an incredibly overachieving pitching staff. That mildly concerns me down the stretch. But I don't know, Josh. I'm a happy man today.
Yesterday,
I think we're back.
Yesterday on the show, you railed against Team USA and longed for something else. Today, once again, you are pushing back against America's team, the Arizona Diamondbacks.
That's right.
And are longing.
You can't touch my baby boy.
Longing for a rain from the Royals yet again.
Very few people have ever been this hot.
All sarcasm aside, boy, Bobby Witt Jr. is fun to watch.
What a delight. What a delight. If you're not paying attention, this guy is the most exciting player in baseball. It's not just like, oh, he's a cute little story. No. You're going to have to put up with this for the next 11 years.
11 years.
11 years, Josh.
I don't know. Can he take the leap this year? Can he become what we think he's going to become? He has arrived.
He has indeed arrived. And people are like, he's going to be in the home run. What did he do in the home run derby? He fell 4 feet short of winning the thing. And then, home run derby slump. We'll see what happens if he runs out of gas. No, he plays every freaking day. And now he's 12 for 16 since the All-Star break. The Royals are 4-0. They're going to win 2 more against the Diamondbacks this week. They're going to win 3 against the Cubs this weekend. They're going to win 3 more against the White Sox next week. And we're going to Michigan. Bah! We're doing the whole thing. I'm very excited. That's all. That's all I wanted to say. We'll do the MLB reaction overreaction thing. But this is the best kind of enjoyment of your baseball team is the unexpected enjoyment. I tempered my expectations at the start of this year. I didn't know what to think. They look the same as everybody else to me with less proven in that division. And now they're making a run at it all of a sudden. They're 4 games out. They're 2 games clear of the wild card. They're a playoff team. They're going to add a piece or 2 in the next 6 or 7 days before the trade deadline, theoretically, unless they get, shut out, blackballed by the league in some way, shape, or form. So forgive me for talking about the Royals for 5 minutes here, but it's very difficult to contain my excitement right now. I was physically stirred up when they hit my son last night.
As you should be.
I stood up out of my chair. I said, hey, no, not up in here.
And then
the captain started barking at him. I'm like, yes.
In each step of that, you get more and more and more invested and excited for your team.
11 more years. Get ready.
Gonna be a problem.
This guy's taking over baseball. He is one of the best players that we have in the sport right now. I just want to make sure that you guys are aware of this.
This isn't Connor doing a Royals bit. This is real.
Nope.
This is real.
I wondered what is better, them signing Seth Lugo to an ultra cheap deal and a low ball, like nobody thought he was going to be any good this year, and him turning out to be the best pitcher in baseball, or was it trading for Cole Riggins for Aroldis Chapman last year, like totally, I don't know what we're going to get out of this guy. Oh, he's just your ace. Or was it signing the superstar to an 11-year, $300+ million extension? I think it was that one.
Some people would take the money and run. Bobby did not.
Safety and comfort for years and years and years. That is quite the thing. Okay.
Are we allowed to bounce back and forth?
Sure.
Because Greg Schiano has done a coach thing.
Oh, really? What else has he said now?
He has engineered a slogan telling the media about FTC. You know what FTC means, Connor?
No.
Family, trust,
Christ, chop.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Braves?
I hope not. You don't have to do that, everybody. Just want to remind everybody, you don't have to do that.
I mean, people do it though. They were born into it. We were born into it.
Not as much as others were born into it. And
That is true, Josh.
Maybe you're appropriating.
Maybe.
Maybe.
So what is it? What's FTC stand for?
Family. Trust. Chop.
But what do you think chop means in this context? Chop block?
Keep chopping that wood. Every day you got to get up and chop that wood.
I love that program. I'm so in on Rutgers right now.
I have a 71-second clip. I haven't listened to it. It feels too long to play.
I'd say just rip it, man.
Okay.
Yeah, we got nothing going on today. I got a couple things, but like rip it. Let's do it.
The second part of your question, who are we as a football team? I think it goes right back to our culture. Family, trust, chop, right? And it doesn't vary. It's not a saying we put on the wall. It's not a shirt. It's how we try to live.
Slogan.
And I think it's the greatest tool that I can send a young man into the real world with. Family, forget about me. I love you. Right? We believe love is sacrifice, the ability to sacrifice for others with no expectation of something in return. Not a lot of that going on these days, right? To do that for your teammates and for your coaches, that's special, right? Trust, 100% honesty, and doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it, right? Easy to say, really hard to do. And then chop, what I mentioned, the ability to stay in the present moment and focus on exactly that which you have to do, right? Don't let those thieves get you. The past and the future, they get you off your mark. And we work really hard in teaching that. So when we say FTC, that's more than something we put on our helmet or something we put on our wristband. It's a way that we try to live life and equip these guys to go out into the real world and be able to be great husbands, great fathers, and productive members of society.
Man.
So if that, what is our team? It's that FTC.
How much do we love dudes, folks? How much do we love dudes?
I don't want to say BS on Greg Schiano there.
What do you mean?
Wouldn't it just been easier to say bleep the critics?
I think when you got your time up there, it's time to say some things.
Okay.
And I think
chop really just didn't make any sense.
It's just chop, man.
Chop.
It's just chop.
And he kept doing this.
I think he checked every box, every thing that a coach, says that they want to be about and all that stuff. All the way down to, which is, I think this is actually a law now that coaches have to talk about how there's not much of blank in the world these days. Can't find that out there much these days, but that's what we're going to build our program on. So we're going that way. So, yeah, Matt Rule's going to talk about the same stuff. Also, shout out to PJ Fleck. Not going to put it on the wall, not going to be a symbol or anything like that. You know what's on the wall at TCF Bank or Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis? A bunch of oars.
Everything.
Just a whole crap ton of oars. You know what's on their helmet? An oar. And they row that boat. RTB, FTC, GBR. We don't do any sloganeering like that. We don't talk about anything like that. We don't talk about family trust. It's just a given when you walk into this program. The only three letters that you need when you walk into this program are G, B, and R.
We're not chasing three.
Oh yeah. Well, they kind of are, right? They're doing that whole documentary thing. Luke Fickle is talking right now. I don't know what he's talking about. All right, we are rolling on here on the Connor Happer Show. We'll have plenty of stuff coming for you today. We will get into the locks and the concerns. I'd like to talk about the topic of travel in the Big Ten. This is something we missed from last week. I imagine this will come up today at Big Ten Media Days, or maybe a little bit more tomorrow when the first two West Coast schools are introduced. The topic of travel around the Big Ten. We have some numbers on how far each football team will be traveling to play their football games this year. How much does it matter? How much are coaches going to complain about it, especially if they're bad? We'll talk about it next on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
All right, clear the deck. Joe Burrow got a haircut. And not only
wall to wall with this.
Not only did he get a haircut, Josh, he got rid of that weird little piece of hair that flings over his face so effortlessly.
That
little flippy deal up front there.
Johnny Depp little twirl.
Yeah, all the stars have it. I can't really explain it. But he went down to basically some form of a buzz cut, from what it appears.
Some people choose to go lower than what Joe has right now.
Yes, he's kept it a little longer and has bleached his hair blonde. 951-1620 is the number to call or text in the show. Let us know what you think. Colin Cowherd's going to have a take about this in a couple hours, so we figured we'd get out in front of it.
You can't dyed hair. Sissy. Can't win in the NFL.
Sissy.
Might as well put on a backwards hat. Here's Draymond Green.
Joe Burrow, you look crazy, man. He's come a long way from, taking selfies with the old LeBron James sticker uniform that I still have in my parents' closet at my old house. He has become wise to fashion choices. I think he's met some people and they've had some influence on him. And he said, Joe, why don't you cut all your hair off and bleach it blonde? That'd be crazy. That'd make some headlines. Guess what? Mission accomplished. He looks insane.
I like this guy.
I kind of like him too.
Yeah.
I like him too. He doesn't, he's not trying to say anything.
Yeah.
He's not really doing anything. He's just kind of being a weirdo. He's a football guy. Like, you could tell why his teammates like him.
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
He's not like, I'm just trying to go out there and make plays. Like, no, he doesn't. No, he's just, I'm Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
I'm a guy.
He also has he has admitted over time about how well life has really worked out for him. He was a backup quarterback at Ohio State. Well, he got hurt in a quarterback competition, ended up having to leave. Nebraska didn't want him. Went to LSU. He was
he could have went to Nebraska.
Yeah, he could have. Sorry to break this news to you, Josh. I know.
We should talk about this.
951-1620. We're going wall to wall with this too. Then he goes to LSU and he's okay his first year and they're fine. And then it all blows up for him. He's the number one pick and they go to the Super Bowl. This is all within the span of 2 years. I've had a good life. He's had a good life. Joe Burrow has. And now he's cutting all of his hair into different colors. Congratulations to Mr. Burrow. All right. Travel. Let's talk travel. Josh, I love geography. You know this about me.
You're a maps guy.
I am a maps guy. I like looking at maps. I like mapping things out. I like seeing where I'm going. This year, as you know, the Big Ten will expand. It'll have 18 teams, some of which are not close to where the current schools are. Is there some concern about this? Did you make 2 of each, Josh? Wow, I didn't realize that. Thank you. I thought you gave me yours during the break.
No.
During the break, Josh came over the table and he said, take some signs. And I said, well, okay, cool. I don't want to take them from you because I think it's better when you have them. Look at this. We're both holding up the concern sign.
Concern.
So Big Ten football travels for 2024. Our friends at bookies.com are collecting data apparently about this and sending out the results of this data on gigantic email chains across the country. And I have received the email. Who will travel the most this year in terms of where they have to play their football games? And how many time zones will they have to travel?
This is another one of those. Man, I'm glad I'm Nebraska. I don't have to worry about this.
It really has worked out for them. They're right in the middle, Josh.
I don't have to worry about what conference we're in. That's locked up and secured. I don't have to worry about what side of the country we're on.
The top distance traveling team is indeed one of the new West Coast teams, as you would have imagined. It is UCLA.
Oh,
UCLA will have to travel. The top 4 teams with the most travel, obviously, are the West Coast teams. UCLA, Washington, Southern Cal, and Oregon. UCLA will have to travel 22,000 miles just to play their 12 regular season football games this year, Josh. Why do they have to travel 22,000 miles? Well, I can tell you what doesn't help. They open their season at Hawaii.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's gonna run the numbers up.
Indeed. But so then they have to go back.
Maybe you drop that game.
Don't go to Hawaii, guys, especially when you're playing at a practice complex.
Yeah.
It's a little odd. But it is on CBS and Paramount Plus week 1. You guys should watch it. Then they'll have a bye week coming out. Everybody gets a bye week coming off of Hawaii, which we talked about with the UNI guy last week.
Oh, yeah.
They go to Hawaii as well. They get a bye coming back off of that. What's up with these people going to Hawaii? Anyway, they host Indiana. Then they go back out on the road to play LSU, come back and play Oregon, go back out and play Penn State, come back and play Minnesota, go back out and play Rutgers.
Whoa. So it's not even like, hey, we're going to stay here for 3 weeks.
No,
you don't have that option.
Not at all. And they come back home, then they go halfway back to Nebraska, then they come back home and get Iowa, and then they go up to Washington, which is still not close.
UCLA lost 62-14 today. The coach blamed jet lag.
They've been jet lagged for weeks. I mean, that stretch right there let's just go from September 21st to November 2nd, basically spanning the entire month of October plus a week. UCLA goes to halfway across the country to LSU and then back. And then they're at home to play Oregon for a week. Then all the way back out to Penn State and then back to play Minnesota for a week. And then all the way back out to Rutgers and then back home for a bye. And then all the way back out to Nebraska. That's a lot. 22,000 miles just to play the 12 games this year. They also counted at bookies.com, not bookies.yeah. I don't know if bookies.yeah works.
Okay.
They will also be crossing over 26 time zones this year. They will be crossing over time zones 26 times. So if you fly over a time zone, it counts.
1, 2, 3, 4,
so
5, 6.
That's
one trip.
The Hawaii one is that's a long.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot of time zones, and then back. That's some time zones. 2 Rutgers, 2 Penn State, and back. That's time zones. 26 time zones crossed for UCLA over their 22,000 miles. Their average road trip will be 3,700 miles. Average. Because they go to Hawaii and then they make 2 trips to the East Coast.
What? So is this a super nice plane that
they better
very luxurious travel accommodations?
They better
I'm sure it's.
They better have friggin' Air Force One.
I hear it's available.
Really? Well, yeah. The current guy who has
giving
rights
it
to
up.
it. No, the current guy is not using it at the moment. Where is he? I don't know. Somewhere in Delaware, they're saying, but he's okay from what I've been told.
Relative term, sliding scale.
Washington, 17,000 miles. USC, 12,000, almost 13,000 miles. Oregon, 12,500 miles. Where does Nebraska land on this list? They're in the middle of the conference.
Finally.
I thought when the West Coast schools joined the conference, I thought, man, it might not be a bad thing that these West Coast schools join, because then the East Coast schools have to go really far to get to where they're going, and Nebraska kind of just like they get a long road trip every week, but they don't have to do the super full cross country road trip. Or they've already been doing the super full cross country road trip for years, going to Rutgers, going to Penn State, going to Maryland, on average, probably, once every 2 years, one of those. So they're kind of used to the halfway across the country thing. And so making one automatic trip to the West Coast every year is not the worst thing in the world for them. Nebraska will travel 6,600 miles this year, an average road trip of 1,300 miles, which is 11th in the conference in terms of miles traveled. 11th. Which is, I don't know if you know this, Josh, but the Big Ten has 18 teams.
Okay, I was just trying to do the math.
It's
on that.
it's on the bottom half. Bottom half of the conference in terms of travel. We really are right in the heart of it now. So congratulations to Nebraska. Are you concerned about the travel, or are you not? What's the other one? Lock?
This is what I've.
Or are you locked about the travel?
The travel for Nebraska is an overreaction, Connor.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't think it. Now, there will be years where it is bad.
These signs are really going to throw me off in a good way. Going to take away my attention. No, I made the same point when this came up, talking about all this trap. Now, I think I don't think it makes that big of a difference in football. Like I said with Nebraska, they're used to it. They're flying a plane to wherever they're going. Is it an hour on the plane to get to Illinois? Yes, you take an hour flight to get there, or an hour flight to get to Minnesota. And then it's 2.5 hours or 3 hours to get to the East Coast. It's the same thing with the West Coast. But they can deal with that, right? Not a huge deal for football. There's obviously going to be a lot more thought in this as it pertains to basketball, as it pertains to all the other sports that have to go on in this gigantic conference, where I think a lot of the times, and you tell me if you would appreciate, like for football, you play one game a week and then you return to where you're at. If you are on the baseball team, you are playing a weekend series in conference. Let's say you draw USC and Oregon in your conference this year, Big Ten baseball. You're almost for sure going to play them back to back, and then just stay out on the West Coast for 2 consecutive weeks, right? So you have to figure that out. And other sports are even more difficult. Basketball is concerned. Okay, are we making trips to the West Coast this year? We're probably going to have to make a trip to the East Coast as well. We got 20 games. So let's knock out all the West Coast ones. Let's knock out all the East Coast ones and kind of figure it out from there. It is a lot of travel. It is a concern. It's not a concern. I think because people made this point right away. Like, it's not my concern as it pertains to money. People brought that up as like, man, how are we going to pay for all this? Just like, don't listen to them.
Money?
Don't listen to them.
No,
it's a concern from the student athlete, like welfare perspective and all that stuff. But they have so much. They got to take a couple extra people on the plane or items or whatever it might be. And oh darn, they might have to fly charter for all these things now. Like, shucks, not my money. Not my responsibility.
Oh no, the robot that brings them muffins in the training room might have to be sold for parts, and so that they can travel to California. They got money hand over fist.
Yeah, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be. I did see that as a complaint early on. Anyway, thank you to thebookies.com for bringing us that list. The team with the least travel this year is Indiana, by the way.
Oh.
Indiana will only have to go 4,800 miles to play their football games.
Big Ten, Hoosier bias?
I mean, they are kind of right smack dab in the middle of everything.
They love Indianapolis.
That is part of the old Big 12 North that I miss. Like, you wake up in the morning and you're like, let's go to the game at Kansas today.
I don't know. Woke up early, couldn't sleep last night. You want to go to Kansas?
Yeah, you want to go to the Iowa State game today? You want to go to the even the Missouri game or whatever it might be. Like, that's K-State. That's fun. Indiana could still kind of do that. They're like, drive up the road to Michigan State? Sure. Why not? But we have a mega giant conference now, and it resembles more a professional league than it does anything else at this point. So they will have to carry themselves a little bit more like that. David Braun is the coach of Northwestern still, and he is
coach of the year
speaking at Big Ten Media Days right now. I do not care about what he's saying.
You don't? I have a quote.
Is there something about his practice field?
No,
because that's really the only thing.
That would be an interesting pull quote from that.
Okay. Okay, fine. What's he got?
It's not a David Braun program. It's our program. It's our players' program, our alumni's program. We have to stay true to our values at Northwestern.
You do. It's very important that they stay true to their values. I've said the same thing.
about
Northwestern. They must stay true to their values.
Have to.
I will give you a quick preview of where I slotted Northwestern in my picks in our 1620 The Zone media poll.
A lot of people slept on them last year, and they greatly achieved.
How's 18th out of 18 for you?
Whoa!
Dead last.
That's not Indiana or Purdue, though.
It's not. Dead last.
Whoa. Why out of curiosity?
Everybody's buying that stock, and I am ditching it.
Okay.
And they're looking at me like I won't say what I was just gonna say, but they're looking at me and they're like, "Why is he selling all that stock?"
Okay.
Demand's too high. People are buying it up too much. Simple.
You sell high. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do.
Selling high because this is the highest it's going to be. That school is not going to be able to compete in this world that we live in.
They were supposed to lose every game last year.
Yeah, they're going to do that this year. Lose them all. See you later, Northwestern. You're dead to me.
Whoa.
I don't know if they're going to lose all of their games, but I do think they're going to lose a lot of their games this year. Last. Goodbye. All right, we'll be back. MLB reaction, overreaction, next on 1620 The Zone. I'm overstimulated right now, Josh. There's JJ Piccolo on MLB Network doing a live interview with, what is it, Brian Kenny?
Yeah,
Probably.
I believe it's Brian Kenny. Bob
Probably.
Costas was there earlier. I doubt he is still there.
He's got no questions for JJ Piccolo. And Costas he's asking questions right now.
Wow.
Look at that. Costas cares about the Royals. That's how they know they're back.
His eyes look great, by the way.
Yeah, not even pink, not even a little bit.
I know we are getting to the
But,
Olympics.
yeah, it's almost that was 4 years ago.
That was a Winter Olympics.
Oh, so it was probably 6 years ago then.
Sochi.
Yeah.
2014, it tells me, 10 years ago.
Oh, 10 years since Bob Costas had pink eye on national TV. And Ryan Walters is giving his State of the Union on Purdue, who definitely won't suck this year.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we just check in with Ryan? Ryan, what are you saying today?
The culture with the
culture,
camaraderie of the locker room and getting to know each other, and hopefully that'll pay dividends this fall. We've also learned a lot as a program in a year. We've learned our strengths and weaknesses as a staff, learned our strengths and weaknesses as a roster, and try to address those. We also know now what the standards and expectations are on how we operate on a day-to-day basis.
Year two, baby. Absolutely.
Also learned as a program how we respond to adversity. When we hit adverse moments a year ago, nobody blinked. They just put their head down, and dove into the process, and worked hard. I've also learned.
That's good. I'm glad they worked hard. Okay, thank you, Ryan.
Individually, going through.
Appreciate it.
I don't know how long we had that pot up, but he didn't say a damn word.
It's probably 30 seconds or so. That's okay. That's all right. I can't help but notice that he's a little less gung-ho today this year.
Really seems like he doesn't want to be there.
It was last year. Probably because they weren't very good last year, and they might not be very good this year. It's time for MLB Reaction Overreaction. Am I overreacting to the Royals' success? Probably. But we'll find out. This is where I get to use my fun cards that Josh has made for me. Thank you, Josh.
Gotta tune in to ZoneTV.live.
What do the writers have for us this week?
Take number one. Bobby Witt Jr. is the American League MVP.
Writers know me well. Currently on the odds board of the FanDuel Sportsbook for
headed.
The American League MVP, Aaron Judge is minus 430. As we mentioned in the last couple of baseball overreactions, he kind of turned into Barry Bonds for a couple months. He's had an incredible year. Gunnar Henderson plus 600. People love the Orioles. We cannot get over our Orioles love. We love the Orioles. It's a team that is developed and drafted in-house, made the right moves, and has accelerated their timeline because of their very smart baseball moves. That's why we love the Orioles. And Gunnar Henderson is a shining example of that. Bobby Witt Jr. plus 750, and then a huge gap. Juan Soto plus 1,700, and then another huge gap.
Whoa.
Rafael Devers, Adley Rutschman plus 18,000 apiece. Those are the four names you need to know. 3 American League Easters and Bobby Witt Jr. How does Bobby Witt Jr. get over the American League bias? Or the American League East bias? How does he get over the fact that Juan Soto and Aaron Judge play for the Yankees? How does he get over the fact that he plays for the Kansas City Royals? The answer is that he doesn't. But baseball is starting to notice. And not just like Brian Kenny, who's like, man, this guy's he's been making hard contact for a long time. His exit velos are at the top of the game. Like all that stuff. It's everybody now. Everybody watches that guy and they're like, oh yeah, this is a star.
That's a superstar.
Yep, this is a star. This is the real guy. And so that's what I'm mostly excited about. Bobby Witt Jr. on his Baseball Savant page. Did I close it out from last night? Sad. I know he tweeted out a picture last night. Gosh. Yes. So as of last night, He was in the 98th percentile in batting run value, 99th percentile in base running run value. He's the third best in that in baseball. I don't know how he's not the first. The 98th percentile in fielding run value, 98th percentile in expected weighted OBA, on base average. It's a made up number again. Expected batting average, he is the best in baseball, 331. Expected slugging percentage, 98th percentile. He hits the ball harder than 94% of the league. He barrels the ball up better than 92% of the league, and he hits the ball hard better than percentage-wise, not better than 93% of the league. He is 12 of 15 since the All-Star break. He had a grand slam last night. He nearly hit for the cycle if he wouldn't have been robbed by those filthy Arizona Diamondbacks.
Dirty, dirty pool.
Dirty, dirty, dirty pool. Bobby Witt Jr. should win the American League MVP. Should win the American League MVP. So this is a reaction.
Whoa.
But he will probably not be the American. He is my American League MVP. And he is the MVP of my heart. Thank you, Bobby.
Of course.
Reaction. Would it surprise? Like, I don't feel like I'm being that crazy right now.
No.
Would it surprise you at all if like, I don't know, Aaron Judge got hurt or something like that?
The Royals have to win the AL Central for him to win the MVP. I think. Yeah. If they do that,
they certainly can. They're only 4 back.
Right. They're rapidly eliminating a gap between them and Cleveland. I'm sure they play each other a bajillion times between now and the end of the season.
A few more.
You'd like Aaron Judge to cool off. You'd like don't let the Yankees win the AL East, because then it's the two baby boys, Gunnar and Bobby.
I get it,
but I mean Bobby's got my vote.
This could happen. He is the MVP of my heart as well, so that counts for something. Next, writers.
Take number 2. The Braves are snake bit / Dunzo.
Okay,
not very eloquently written,
but
take from the writers.
Before I hold up a sign, what does Dunzo mean?
I don't want to speak for the writers, but let's say that they're not going to advance very far in the Major League Baseball playoffs.
That seems vague, but guess what? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to join the dark side with you, Josh. This is a reaction. Everybody's hurt. Spencer Strider got hurt. Ronald Acuna got hurt. Ozzie Albies got hurt. What's his name? Mr. Fried got hurt.
Fried.
Yeah, I always like to say Fried because it's funnier.
It is.
And then they decided to acquire Whit Merrifield yesterday to fix their depth problem. He was going to come in as a helping piece. Maybe
don't have Ozzie for 2 months.
Yeah, he can help you out with a little defense. Maybe get you a hit every now and again. And he's a utility player. And he doesn't even play a single game before screwed up his finger. So he is out.
Great. Nobody can hit the ball.
Definitely got some snake bit qualities to them.
Yeah, just one of those.
You're going to need to, in order to overcome the injury. I mean, think about that. Strider, Acuna, Albies, and Fried. Acuna's out for the year. Albies is out for any, reasonable, he's out until September.
Yeah.
And Strider's out for the year.
Strider's out for the year. Defending NL Rookie of the Year, Michael Harris Jr. has been out for. They keep putting him on the 10-day IL and keep putting him on the 10-day IL.
Yeah. I mean, you need some, in order to overcome that, you need some super organizational depth. And you just don't, nobody has that.
Yeah.
No, you can't replace star power with average dudes and just continue to get away with it. Can they win enough games to get in the playoffs? Of course they can. Of course they can. But that is not a team that's going to win the World Series.
You need AA to get at the deadline, go and make another set of deals like you did in 2021, where he
needs to fleece some more people.
Yeah. Ooh, Jock Peterson, Jorge Soler. Gosh, I hope it works out.
Jorge, to be fair to the Royals, Jorge Soler was hitting about 4. And then he won the World Series MVP with them in, that one year. So, I mean,
thanks for that.
Even though we knew that was going to happen, it was the same story with Ryan O'Hearn. What's that? You're hitting 4, and we've stuck with you for several years, but we know the second you leave, you're going to go to the Baltimore Orioles and become a really good player. We just got to live with ourselves, I guess.
I just love the verbiage of he's hitting 4.
He's hitting 4. Josh writes in on Twitter.
Hi, Josh.
Nacho fast on the Braves being done. They're close, but I'm still hopeful.
Please. I'm very hopeful, but boy, I've been beaten down throughout the course of the year.
You have been. You've been on this for a long time. And I'm with you.
They called up their top infield prospect, Nacho Alvarez.
I get it. You're asking a lot of young players. That's what I'm saying.
Schwelly's looking good, though. Schwelly's developed nicely.
Good job, Schwelly.
Take number 3. The real Houston Astros have arrived.
All right. Watch with us on YouTube, 1620 The Zone TV, zonetv.live. Ooh, a disagreement,
wow.
Josh.
We never disagree.
The real Astros have arrived. Now, if you believe that these are the real Astros, you believe that they're good. They're hot.
Okay.
They're hot. They're overtaking the Mariners. The Mariners have plummeted.
They're currently tied for the lead in the AL West. Astros must be leading the tiebreaker because they're on top.
Yeah. The Mariners have been horrible for the last 2 weeks. Yes. They're like, are we going to sell? What's going to happen here? They're going through it pretty bad right now.
If Julio Rodriguez would like to hit the ball, it'd be great.
The Astros have gotten hot. The Rangers have kind of picked up a little bit. I think that this Astros group in particular is living off of the reputation of what they have over the last couple of years. I think they're a little bit closer to what they were in the first 2 months of the season when they were, sitting around 8 to 10 games under 500 that entire time. So I think things will even out. Now, the problem is you're going to need the Mariners or the Rangers to do something, and it feels like it's just going to be a war of attrition in that division. That might be the worst division in baseball, folks.
I'd like to
I guess the NL Central is pretty rough.
I'd like to make a comp.
Yes.
This is like when Tiger Woods was in the field on Sunday and just on reputation alone, everyone else pooped their pants.
Yeah.
And
maybe.
And then at the end, the old KG vet won the tournament.
Yeah. Maybe. That's good.
Is he good? I don't know. Everyone's scared of him, though.
So the writers have added another thing in here. This is not something that we could react or overreact to. It's just a bunch of words. Let me read them to you.
The game is reaction, overreaction, writers.
Yeah, they don't get it.
Lazy.
This one says, I'm pretty much convinced that very few people of significance are going to get moved at the deadline. There are too many excuses for GMs to not be aggressive, and we have a lot of not so aggressive GMs. How would you react to that, Josh? Is that what kind of statement is that?
Yeah, I agree with that statement, I guess.
I actually do too.
I mean, in the NL, there's only 2 teams that are really eliminated. I mean, the Blue Jays are 10 games out of the wild card. I guess they'll probably sell some pieces.
But it is now become, so the Blue Jays are a good example, right? So the question with them is, are they selling off Vladimir Guerrero Jr.? Would it behoove them to tear down by the way, it would, right? They have a bunch of aging stars, like guys are in their low to mid 30s, talking about guys like Springer, like
Turner's still batting around over there.
Absolutely. They could very easily churn that and kickstart their next kind of rebuild. But if they believe that if those pieces play to their capabilities, like Guerrero Jr. next year or whatever it might be, they find a pitcher or two, and they'll always be aggressive in free agency because that team always has been. Like, they are right back in the hunt. So the gap between being bad and rebuilding is just a lot bigger now. You have to really, really suck to say these pieces just aren't going to work. We have to face reality. Reality is not showing up on really anybody's doorstep in Major League Baseball anymore.
Right.
Which I don't know if that's a good thing for the game or a bad thing for the game. I think it's a bad thing for a lot of these teams because you could suspend reality as long as you want and say, we're going to run it one more time with these guys. And then you end up getting fired. So I think there's too many excuses to not be aggressive. And like I said, like if you're one of the contending teams right now, you don't feel like you need to push that hard because it would come at a significant cost and you're already contending and you know that nobody else is going to push that hard either. And we have a good sample size of this happening in the past where teams push really, really hard and it doesn't work.
Right.
And then they're blown up. You know, the A's in the mid-teens, the mid-aughts, or the mid-teens, I guess, are a pretty good example of that. You know, trading for Lester and doing that whole thing and then it falling short. So I just think there's little incentive to really go out and really pay for rentals, for 2-month rentals.
Yeah, absolutely. The Blue Jays need to have, and I'm sure they are having these conversations internally. Do we need to fire our manager or do we need to blow this up?
Yeah.
Because, boy, it sure feels like you need to blow it up.
I agree.
Sadly.
But it doesn't feel like we're headed that direction.
No, it doesn't. I mean, there's like 4 guys that I expect that max to get traded. Mason Miller, Crochet.
I don't know. They're being weird about him, too, because obviously the price is high.
Yeah, the price is high, so they might hold on to him. Crochet, Robert Jr. I call him Robert Jr.
No, Luis Robert. That's how you say it.
Like, it is? It's not Robert?
No.
Okay. Sorry. I thought there was a Latin.
Wow, Josh. Overreaction much?
Jazz Chisholm.
I don't know that Luis Robert's going to get traded.
I don't either.
Once again, price is high, and there's little incentive for these teams to do it unless they have deep farm systems and they feel like they could just part ways with guys. But there is going to be one team or 2 teams who says, "Okay, I have found this market inefficiency, and I am going to go hard at the trade deadline," and they can gobble up whatever they'd like to do.
Unless you're the Marlins and you're just stupid, and so here, have Jazz Chisholm. It's fine. We don't want him.
Yeah.
Remember when he was on the cover of the show?
I do. That was this year, wasn't it? Or was it
last year? Take number 5.
And finally,
on the 2025 Hall of Fame ballot, if you don't vote for Ichiro, you should have your vote revoked.
This is the easiest reaction I've ever seen in my entire life. So we inducted 3 new members into the Hall of Fame over the weekend. I caught some of the speeches. They were good.
I caught
comical. Joe Mauer got emotional. That was nice.
Good for him.
Todd Helton told this great story about how he was a superstitious, he's a baseball guy and he's superstitious. And he was driving into the ballpark one day on the road up from Colorado Springs, and he got pulled over and got a speeding ticket. And then he got 3 hits. And so what did he do the next day? He went fast as hell and got pulled over by that same guy, got 3 more hits. That's pretty good.
I don't condone this.
That's a pretty good baseball story.
That's a great baseball story.
Good job by Todd Helton. Anyway.
How long did he keep it up? Just those 2 days?
I don't know. That was all that he told.
Okay.
It's very possible that it could be more than that. So next year we'll have a few new names on the ballot. First timers. Ichiro Suzuki. We'll circle back to Ichiro. CC Sabathia. I'm just going to name guys now because we like to do that. Dustin Pedroia, Ian Kinsler, Felix Hernandez, Troy Tulowitzki, Ben Zobrist, Curtis Granderson, Hanley Ramirez, Russell Martin, Adam Jones, Brian McCann, Martin Prado, Carlos Gonzalez, Melky Cabrera, Clay Buchholz, Francisco Lariano, Ian Desmond, Jason Vargas, Kendrys Morales, Mark Trumbo, Fernando Rodney, and Mark Reynolds. Now, none of the last 20 guys that I mentioned will get into the Hall of Fame, but I do think it's funny that Kendrys Morales and Jason Vargas are on there. Shout out to the and Ben Zobrist. Shout out to the 2015 Royals. None of them will make it past their first time in the ballot, but Ichiro Suzuki will. Actually, I guess he won't make it past the first time either because he'll get in next year. The question is anybody out there stupid enough to say that Ichiro is not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Gotta earn it.
I don't know what would be the case for that, but there's always somebody. And so we've had exactly one conventional 100% vote getter ever, Mariano Rivera, in 2019.
Very worthy.
Derek Jeter missed it by 1. Ken Griffey Jr., I believe, missed it by 2.
2, yeah. I think Maddox missed it by...
he was close. He was 90.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
here are over 98 guys.
Oh, okay.
Rivera, 100. Jeter, Griffey, Seaver, Nolan Ryan, Cal Ripken Jr., Ty Cobb, George Brett, Hank Aaron. Is Ichiro in that category of people? I'm going to let my love for Ichiro cloud my brain here. He's one of my favorite players of all time. And he did not play that long in Major League Baseball and very easily surpassed career milestones all over the place. Was a part of the best Mariners team ever.
I don't know. When I first got my vote for the Baseball Hall of Fame, really watched him really half-ass it on the Marlins.
Are you talking if you were a Hall of Fame voter who was a 20-year-old?
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, I mean, he probably doesn't deserve to be like a 100% guy in that group. He only won one MVP, by the way, which is kind of surprising to me. But those 10 years in Seattle, remember, he came into the league at age 27.
People forget.
Those 10 years in Seattle, I mean, there wasn't a more fun guy. You know, he played every game. He got 250 hits a year. You know,
career WAR of 60.
he hit 320 at least every year. In 2004, he hit 372.
I love the stories of people watching him take BP and he's just
Yeah.
jacking dongs, and people are like, why don't you do that in the game? And he's like, the team doesn't need me to do that in the game. I could do this. I could do that all day. I get singles.
And that is a thing that works in his favor with a Hall of Fame vote because he is a mythical person.
Yes.
There are stories about Ichiro.
There's a lore.
There is a lore. There are stories about Ichiro, and people gobble that bleep up, including myself.
He debuted April 2nd, 2001.
Josh Peterson's favorite year.
Yeah.
So I think he's got some things working for him. Ultimately, he doesn't have the resume to be like a 100% guy, but he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Do you remember the inside the park home run at the All-Star game?
I do.
I mean, what's the list of people who won Rookie of the Year and MVP in the same season? Can't be too many.
I don't know that it's too many. Yeah. Shout out Ichiro. This is our love letter to Ichiro. Yeah. This entire show is dedicated to Ichiro. We love you, Ichiro.
Yeah.
I bet Ichiro could still get 2 hits today if he wanted to.
Literally today.
Yeah, literally today. At age like what, 58?
50, I think.
50. He'll be 51 in October.
Ooh.
All right. That's Emma. Wow, we went long on that. Sorry. Quick break. Come back for the odd news next on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
It is time for the odd news. Here's Ryan Day on his new offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly. Quote, I trust Chip Kelly with my life.
Whoa.
End quote.
Well, in a lot of ways, it is in Chip Kelly's hands.
It kind of is. Also, Will Howard. Let me know how that goes. All right, Josh, what do we got today?
We did the duck story earlier, right?
We did the duck. We talked about the duck.
Talked about the duck. There's
big
a big
floating duck.
A big duck. The Olympics opening ceremonies are Friday, Connor.
Really?
And we've alluded to this already. The USOC, the U.S. Olympic Committee, has selected Snoop Dogg to carry the Olympic torch throughout the streets of Paris.
That's great.
Instead of one of the 500-plus athletes, the legendary rapper will be one of the last torchbearers to participate in the traditional relay before it reaches its final landing spot at the Eiffel Tower on Friday. Snoop will carry the flame through Saint Denis, the town's mayor said on social media. He'll be alongside French rapper MC Solar and an actress, Letitia Casta. Don't know who that is.
Cool.
Must be French. The relay started back in April in Greece, and the torch has been making its way to France ever since. Snoop is going all in for Team USA this year, even joining NBC's Olympic coverage.
Yep.
He's been hanging out with the athletes. No word on who will light the Olympic cauldron Friday. That honor usually remains a secret until the telecast.
Wow. Snoop Doggy Dogg. What a representative for America. So he'll run around the track?
Yeah, and they're doing it not on a track like normal, just in the streets of Paris.
Oh, okay. And
a little different this time
finishes
around.
at the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
You ever want to go to Paris, Josh? Would you like to go to Paris?
I have wanted to, yes. I took 2-3 years of French in high school.
Paris would not be the place that if I could choose like an international city to go to, I don't think it would be Paris.
It would not be my first choice, no.
I'm not sure. It doesn't seem all that appealing to me. It just seems like a city.
Seems very, very busy, very crowded.
Yeah. Like it wouldn't be London either, for the record. You know, like
what would it be? I guess I have to do my due diligence here.
Somewhere in Italy.
That would be my choice. Italy. Some places in Greece look very nice. I understand they have their own problems, though.
Yeah. Everybody's got problems, I guess.
Yeah, sure.
I always hear that the place around the Eiffel Tower is like, it's not great. You know, it's just it's a symbol of the world.
Snoop Dogg?
I don't know. I'm sure they'll have it all figured out by the time the opening ceremonies come around in a couple days.
I hope they've thought of this.
I hope they thought of it too. Snoop will be okay. Snoop's seen some things in his life.
He has. We'll stay in Paris for story number 2. You know those anti-sex beds at the Olympic Village?
Yes.
Turns out, Connor, and this will shock you,
that you actually can have sex on them?
You actually can have sex on them. It's almost as if it was the first thing the Olympic athletes did when they reached the village.
Just checked.
Tom Daley, the youngest European diving champion, and Irish gymnast Rhys McClanahan got into their Olympic Village rooms over the weekend and were quick to test out the myth about their sleeping arrangements. Daley showed how the cardboard bed frame is set up with a mattress and Paris Olympic-themed blanket. And to prove all the rumors to be bogus, the 30-year-old gold medalist stood up on it and pounded away with his feet before assuming several different positions.
Yeah, he kind of was started,
He was giving it a go.
Yeah.
Not one piece of cardboard crumbled under the pressure.
Nah.
McClanahan, considered one of the best pommel horse workers in the world, got a little more aggressive with his demonstration, jumping, flipping, doing several gymnastics moves on the bed. McClanahan said, "It passed the test. It's fake news," he said.
Incredible.
Hope we have a drop. Do we still got the drop for that? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You are fake news.
Thank you, President T.
Then that's from That's from an Irish gymnast saying fake news.
Yeah, this
that.
was never going to work.
No.
It was a misinformation campaign.
It was.
By the Olympics to say, hey, could we just not make this the storyline of the Olympics this year? But it's disorienting and it's confusing because, like you said, Josh, they're going all in on sex in other places. You know, they're having the sex podcast lady on there, and there's just mixed signals all over the place. I just don't think they want this to be the thing they think of when they think of the Olympics anymore.
Sure.
Which makes sense. But unfortunately, this has just made people think of it more.
Also, here's 250,000 condoms.
Yeah.
We come stateside into Illinois for our final story.
Illinois, beautiful state.
The Wienermobile and a car were both going north on the tollway when the Wienermobile struck a car, lost control, and rolled over. Illinois State Police said no injuries were reported. But the Wienermobile was involved in a rollover crash yesterday morning on the Tri-State Tollway. About 11:15 a.m., state troopers were called to I-294 for a crash involving the Wienermobile and a Hyundai, according to Illinois State Police. Not sure why we had to name the brand of the other car.
What kind of Hyundai?
Doesn't say. The Wienermobile and a car were both going northbound. Wienermobile struck the car, lost control, rolled over. The right lane was shut down for more than an hour following the crash, and they had to tow the Wienermobile away. We're grateful that everybody involved is safe and there were no injuries, an Oscar Mayer spokesperson was forced to say. We're offering ongoing support for our hot doggers, and we appreciate the support we've received from local authorities. Safety on the road is top priority for us.
Yeah.
Hot doggers are employees who drive the Wienermobile, the article points out.
So here's a question for you, Josh. Are you on the Oscar Mayer mailing list? Are you on the press release list?
I am not.
So I am.
Wow.
And they are really, really committed to the puns thing.
Okay.
About the hot dogs and the ketchup and the mustard and the relish.
Sure.
Yes, they're very committed to this. Every summer they do a tour of the wieners, and there's more than one wiener.
Wiener tour.
I think there's like 6 of them, and they share regions, and
Multiple wieners.
they hire college interns to take the whole summer and live in the Wiener Mobile. And then they stop around various places and they, talk on radio shows and things like that. A couple years ago, they stopped through. They came to, hey, we're coming into town. Would you like to see what's going on?
Yes, I would.
Absolutely, I would. Absolutely, I would. So I walked inside of the Wiener truck. It's nice in there. Spacious. Cool. Wouldn't want to live in there for 3 months, but it's nice.
No. I mean, if you're 19, 20, 22, might be a story to tell.
Absolutely.
Like, hey.
Yeah. I would have done it in a college summer in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. All right, Josh, thank you. Thank you for that.
Hi. Yeah, thanks.
That's it, right? That was 3.
Yeah, no, I'm just scrolling on Twitter and Doug McDermott's on Ryan Russillo's podcast.
Yes, that is correct. He's talking about things. People want to talk to Doug these days. Also, Cena
Johnson?
Is it Cena? I always get it wrong. But she has turned the meme of you into a blank sign. So that could be exciting.
Okay.
Yeah. For whoever would like to use that, just using the template for everybody else.
Gosh, I hope there's no elections coming up.
That's the odd news. Bob Asmussen will join us at the bottom of the hour to talk some Illinois football as Brett Bielema has wrapped up his press conference at Big Ten Media Days. I'm sure he's making the rounds as we speak. We'll come back. Time to get your signs out again. Lock and concern. Are these two things opposite? Do they oppose each other? I don't know. I made this game up this morning. What are the things that you think you can count on for Nebraska football this year? And what are the things that you might be mildly concerned about? I'll give you mine, and we'll hold up these weird signs next on 1620 The Zone. right, press conferences have concluded from Big Ten Media Days Day 1, or big stage press conferences have concluded from Day 1. Ryan Day was the last one. So now they've broken out into the Big Ten set. Great to see our friends, Jerry DiNardo and Howard Griffith and Jake Butt and Dave Revson getting cooking. I'm excited. We should probably find a way to put this on the, well, we can't put it on the bigger screen in here just because it doesn't work, but I'm excited to see any of our local media members and friends walking behind the set.
Milling about.
I certainly made that a point when I saw the stage. It's like, I think I'll walk behind here and then go on Twitter and see if I can find a screenshot of myself. As you know, I like pictures of myself.
So vain.
Definitely out of vanity. And so, yeah, we'll see if we get any funny ones. We got some memes up right now at Happer Show. Josh with a blank sign that you could Photoshop whatever you'd like onto it.
We be memeing.
We do be memeing. Somebody has already sent me one where they put sicko on the sign. It says sicko.
Oh.
So that one's kind of fun.
I'd love to see these.
Okay. I'll send it your way.
Okay.
Before we get to Bob Asmussen of the Champaign News-Gazette and talk about Illinois football, locks and concerns. Things that you can count on for Nebraska football that you feel like you can count on this year, and things that you feel like that might be something that we look back on and say, we should have seen that one coming. There's always a few every year. Let's start with the text line. This is from the 843.
Hi, 843.
As you said, Josh, we're big in South Carolina. Huge in South Carolina. Nebraska football. Texter says, lock, defense. Concern, special teams. An interesting place to start. What do you mean by special teams? Just the kicking game in general?
All of it.
All of it?
Returning.
Kicking.
Punting. Yeah, all of it.
The operation of it all. So here's where I fall on kicker. Without a whole lot of confidence and a whole lot of oomph behind it, I do feel like Tristan Alvano is set up to bounce back a little bit here. I think they've obviously brought in some competition for him, and they've brought in maybe they could view that as just a safety net for Tristan Alvano. The problem that I would have with kickers sometimes is when you can tell they're just in a really, really bad headspace.
Forcing it, not going.
It's happened a lot. It happened to, remember the 2020 season when Connor Culp won like kicker of the year, and they come back the next year and you're like, damn, this is all good. We're locked up at kicker. Nope. They couldn't get anything right that year. And in fact, they ended up using a different kicker for the majority of the year, or a couple other kickers for, I think, the majority of that season. So, it looked to me just watching him that he had it bad. He was in a bad headspace. I don't feel like Alvano is there yet. Maybe you miss your first few out of the gate and you're like, yikes. But I think if you get him a couple layups, if you get a couple easy ones early, I know he missed one in the spring game and people are stressed out about it. I am cautiously optimistic about Tristan Alvano's ability to bounce back and be fine this year. I'm not worried about that kid's headspace. That's all.
I've seen it work so much with him at West Side and places like that I feel like it's gonna come around. I don't know what the difference is between senior year of high school, freshman year, and next year. But hope he's gonna snap out of it. Still a concern.
Definitely a concern
until he shows me otherwise.
Until proven otherwise. And by the way, the texter from South Carolina did follow up and say all of it. Special teams. Punting, I would handshake meme with you on that one. I don't know what happened to Brian Buschini over the last year.
Let's flip some fields, man.
Yeah, that has gone horribly over the last year or so here. So I don't have much confidence in that. Maybe he was hurt last year and he can get it together. The return game, I feel like Nebraska is, you don't need to be incredible in the return game, right?
No.
You just ask to not hurt yourself. That's a good first step. Don't hurt yourself in the return game. Nobody's going to return any kicks.
Right. We just
Right.
don't. It's eliminated
It's-
from the. Get it out of your head.
Right. It's punting, punting and punt returning, and it's going to be a big deal for them this year. Yes, all of those would rise to the level, I think, of like, I don't know how that's going to go. And so that's a question. That's a concern. I think that's a good take from South Carolina texter.
Carolina knows ball.
And then the lock is the defense. You know, that's from South Carolina texter.
Oh,
I would separate it into different questions, right? Like the defense as a whole, is it going to be good? Yes. But like, does that tell the story of what they're going to be?
Okay.
No, I think there's specific parts of the defense that I'm a little bit like,
what's the secondary going to be?
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But I mean, they should be able to be, really good up front and good on the defensive line. And
you're going to be able to get a deep ball off on them.
We'll see. So let me give you mine here. I got a lock for you, just to show you which direction we're headed here. Here's something that I know is going to happen this year, or I feel very, very, very good about. You won't be surprised to hear this. Lock. Nebraska will turn the ball over less this year.
Ooh.
Nebraska will not be painfully handicapped by their offense's ability to put the football on the ground and turn the football over constantly.
You've been beating this drum
Yes.
for the entire offseason.
31 times. 31 times last year. It ain't going to be 31. Honestly, I think you could start the number at like half of that. Half. And that's still just fine. Like averaging a turnover a game, if you get it down to 15, 16 in that range, that's a little more than a turnover a game. That's half of what they did last year, guys. It's going to be better. Not that last year is this thing that we need to be comparing it to all the time, but if you're basing it off of that and you're all scared because, Nebraska, we've always thought that Nebraska was going to turn the ball over less, and they just haven't. Well, last year it was people always say, hey, never say it's rock bottom. Specifically in the case of offense and turnovers last year, that was it. That was rock bottom. It does not get worse than that. It's a lock.
Market.
Nebraska's getting better in that category this year. A concern.
Okay.
I have voiced my concern about Nebraska's running backs on this show.
You have often.
I will go more specific. Will Nebraska be able to run the ball in short yardage situations?
Ooh, okay.
When they get up to 3rd and 3, whose hand do they feel comfortable putting the ball in? I like the look of their offensive line. It's better. Obviously, a lot of the work is done up front. But sometimes stuff breaks down and the running backs have to make a play. Excuse me. I don't feel great about Nebraska's running back's ability to go the extra yard, right? To go more. To be Amir Abdullah, to be a game-breaking type of running back. I don't think they have anybody in that room. And so my thought is that Nebraska might actually depend on the pass game a little bit more in those short yardage situations, as much as that triggers everybody. I know. They're like, why are you running it? So don't be surprised this year when they're sitting in the shotgun on 3rd and 1. I'm telling you, don't get mad. Do not get mad.
You got to go power I.
This is like,
I'm turning in my season tickets if they don't go power I.
Think about it. If they go power I, you are telegraphing that you're going to turn around and hand the ball off, or you're going to, you can go more QB sneak this year. Sure, you could do that.
It's Big Ten football, Connor.
But you're telegraphing that you're going to turn around and hand the ball off to your running back or trap it to your fullback or whatever it might be. Maybe you could do a little play action off of that, but usually there's not a lot of time because everybody's coming at you. I just don't know if that, like in a specific 1 yard situation or a 3 yard situation on 3rd down, you need to keep the drive alive. I think they would feel more comfortable in putting it in the hands of their freshman quarterback rather than turning it around and handing it off to the running back. I think they'll use the short pass game as an extension. So with that being said, you get a little one-dimensional. And, that inhibits your ability to score in the red zone. Nebraska's had a problem with that over the last several years. I don't feel great about the short yardage stuff at the moment.
Okay.
Let's go back-to-back concerns.
Oh.
Concern. Oh. Hang on. Not stuff the truck. Concern.
Concern.
It's a concern, Josh, to me. I like what Nebraska's done to correct and get better on offense. Now I'm talking about personnel, right? Obviously, you got a much better quarterback. You got brought in a couple wide receiver transfers. You're a year older at running back. You're a year older on the offensive line. You're a year older in the tight end room. But when you put that whole picture together, I am still concerned about the lack of offensive playmakers.
Okay. I'm with you on that one.
Does Jamal Banks break a game? Does Isaiah Nair break a game? Maybe. That might be your most likely candidate. Can Thomas Fidone do that? These are all maybes. These are all people that we've seen produce at the Jamal Banks is a guy that has produced at the college level before, just as Billy Kemp was, just as Conavai Noah was, transfer wide receivers that they brought in for these one-year spells. Successful season at Nebraska? Yes, we are headed toward it with Jamal Banks. He'll be fine. He'll be good. Is he going to add an element to that room that gives you something extra and something more outside of the stability of it? No. I think you're still depending on that from Jalen Lloyd, from Malachi Coleman, from your young guys. And we don't know. We don't have an answer. So I don't think they have much explosiveness on offense. Last year, they were exclusively explosive, but not enough, right? And so there's a balance that you have to strike there.
I very quickly have two.
Go for it.
I got one lock.
Yep.
And we've talked about it on the show a bunch.
Tell me something.
Competent quarterback play.
That's easy.
Might not blow up the stat sheet.
Lock.
But lock it in.
Yeah.
Concern. The secondary. We question
all of it or just the corners?
Mainly the corners.
Yes.
We've questioned the personnel during the offseason, and then you got that late coaching change. What's the vibe of that room like?
Okay.
Will it turn into good production, bad production?
Concern.
Yeah.
The concern, boys.
Just concern.
Just some mild concern there. I like it. One more lock.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For me.
Yeah, let's end on a good note. A lock.
Nebraska will have a top 30 defense in the country.
That's good.
Top 30. I moved that number back a little bit.
Give yourself a buffer.
People are expecting more, but yes, Nebraska will have and you know what? I think this is what we're going to call a stock lock. This is a stock lock. Right stock here, because this is an every year thing. Nebraska's going to have a good defense every year.
I've heard Matt Rule say we're going to be good on defense no matter what, no matter who's coaching.
Because they are a defense-first program. They are a defensive-oriented team. And when you do that, you will cater to your defense. You will make it easier for your defense. And you will, just that. You'll make it easier for your defense. Lock. Nebraska's going to have a good defense. That really stands throughout Matt Rule's time here. Okay, locks and concerns. Thank you for the signs, Josh.
I think they really worked.
I think they really helped. Really helped the presentation. If you guys have more, we'd be happy to put the signs up for you.
Oh, look what you did.
Yeah, we'll be happy to put the signs up for you. So just send those in.
Yeah, send us your locks, your concerns all week long.
At Happer Show on the J-Tech Construction Zone Twitter feed. Coming back, let's talk some Illinois. Bob Asmussen joins us next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back. We're the Connor Happer Show here on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Big Ten Media Days rolls on from Indianapolis. Illinois was one of the teams today, and they are the next team up on our summer school tour. The Illini will be coming to Lincoln in late September for a Friday night tilt, the 400th consecutive sellout at Memorial Stadium. That is, assuming that the games before it sell out. That'd be funny if it was like the second consecutive sellout. But I don't think that's possible because that would mean the game the sellout streak would end would be Colorado. Anyway, Bob Asmussen of the Champaign News-Gazette joins us now on the 42 Degrees The Source hotline to talk some Illinois. Bob, thanks for doing this again. Appreciate it. How are you?
I'm great, and Illinois is on a 0 sellout streak, so 0 games. So I got work to do. I got a little catching up to do.
Yeah. Hey, every streak starts at 1, Bob.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I was barely alive when the last one in Lincoln started. So I think I'm a year older than that thing started. So I'm 62. So I think it would start 62 year, right? 1962.
1962. Yeah, that's right. So you'll see number 400 coming up this fall. So let's we got Bielema's big press conference out of the way early. Was there anything that you and I think the most that I heard coming out of it was that he gave a probably 7 to 8 minute opening statement, and there was time for one question afterwards. What did you take anything from his appearance at the podium today?
It was 11 minutes, I think, of the opening statement. I kept thinking maybe you should start license ask questions. There was one question you correct. I don't think it's a very important question. So yeah, it was kind of, but we get them a lot during the summer, spring, so it's fine. But again, I didn't get a whole lot. The podium things they do here, the one shot thing, that's really for radio or TV more than anything.
Yep.
When they do the individual things here, which are coming up later right now, actually, it's more time to talk to Bill. You can literally sit there and talk to the same coach for half an hour if you want to. So there's more there. But again, he's not a whole lot of forthcoming with information. He's not going to tell you a whole lot about what he's doing because he wants you not to know. Kind of his goal. So I know his quarterback is going to be.
Yeah.
I know that for sure. But then beyond that, I'm not totally sure about anything.
There's not a whole lot of big questions personnel-wise, other than, not from a personnel perspective, but I think the big question with Illinois is, all right, so which is the real Illinois? They kind of burst onto the scene a couple of years ago, and they grabbed 8 wins, and we're like, oh, what's Brett Bielema building over there? And then last year they lose a bunch of close games, and get drilled by Purdue, had the loss to Nebraska, and lost some close games, some good teams down the stretch. And ended up going 5-7. So what does this year look like to you as far as, are we in the category of it's got to be either a bounce back or, this feels like a kind of a defining year for Bielema at Illinois in which direction it might be headed.
Well, it's really funny. I've covered the team for 35 years. Okay. And they've almost never put together a long run of success. So we really never know.
Yeah.
Year to year, you have that 8-win season a couple of years ago. I had no idea those coming. I thought maybe they'll be okay. They'll be a good deal bowl, but they had 8 wins. Should have really won 10. So it's really kind of we don't know. And it was the fact that you don't see in the spring or summer or fall is really extraordinary to know. But I think this season is important for Brett Bielema just to get things back on track because last year was off track. Should have won. Should have gone to the bowl. They didn't do that. They got to get back. He's not in any kind of trouble. He's got a big long contract. The buyer is huge. He's not going anywhere. I think more to the point is you want to build this thing where you want it to be like Wisconsin was. He's got to get it going. It's got to get going now. So I think that winning season this year is pretty critical.
The schedule, on the other hand, is concerning. They will come in Kansas in the non-con, road trips to Nebraska, Penn State, Oregon. Rutgers is going to be better this year. And you get Michigan at home. Minnesota obviously is a tough one as well. The Northwestern game at Wrigley. A lot going on that schedule, Bob. Like, how do you think they kind of navigate that this year?
Well, I keep saying this to anybody who will listen. The Kansas game is critical because they can play that game. I'm sure they went there and got drilled in Lawrence, which is, that happens to some teams. If they have Kansas come to Champaign, be able to hang closer, win the game. That'd be huge in terms of momentum for the rest of the year. You're right; those road trips back to Nebraska and State. If you go 1-1 there, it's okay. You go 0-2, you get a problem. And then obviously Michigan coming for the 100th anniversary of the Red Grange game. That's huge. Going to Oregon. Have you guys been there? It's crazy.
I didn't go on the Nebraska made a trip out there a few years ago now, but I didn't go, but it looked amazing.
It's a great venue, and of course, home of Animal House, so it's like I loved it.
Yep.
But it's a pretty cool place. But I think that game is cool. Team's good. Luckily for Illinois, they don't play Ohio State. That's helpful. They don't play Wisconsin. Don't play Iowa. So there are some good things. But you were right. They have a difficult road to go.
Is there a level? So on that, is there a level of disappointment there? I mean, we were talking about this yesterday as it pertains to the Old West and how it's split off now. For Illinois, I mean, you don't get Wisconsin, you don't get Iowa, you still get Nebraska, and you still get Northwestern and Minnesota as well. But you feel like, man, Wisconsin and Iowa were kind of really good barometer games to figure out where you are in the West. Now there is no kind of barometer. I guess, how does Illinois fit in a world where they're in the divisionless Big Ten?
Well, they didn't win a lot of those games against Wisconsin and Iowa. So that was not a great thing for Illinois. I mean, when they beat them, it was a big deal, but they didn't do that whole lot. Now they got Purdue and Northwestern as permanent opponents, which to me, if you're looking at Illinois' standings point, that's a good thing. Because Northwestern is not routinely always good. They've been good at under Pat Fitzgerald. They were good, and I think the new coach is doing a good job. Purdue's been down, so there's some issues there. So I think it kind of works out okay for Illinois, not having to see Nebraska every year, much as I regret that. I wish they played them every year. But they don't have to see them twice in 5 years. It's more manageable. So I think for them, it's okay. It is where they are. But they have to, until they start winning regularly, it's always teams. It does not really matter.
Personnel-wise, lost a lot. I mean, let's just include the last 2 years. I mean, when you think about Williams and Johnny Newton and Witherspoon and Chase Brown, like those were real guys in the Big Ten, and they really showed their muscle and that they were competitive in that league for as long as they were there. None of those guys are on the roster anymore. What is it? Who steps up into those kind of star roles for Illinois this year?
Well, one guy that's here in Indy, Pat Bryant, the receiver, really good. He had a nice year last year, I think 50-plus catches. He's a guy, I think he'll become a prominent player this year. He's one. I think you really need quarterback Luke Altmaier to become what they thought he could be. His Ole Miss transfer, played last year, got knocked out late in the year by concussion, and then he basically lost his job to a John Paddock, was a transfer from, actually had ties to Champaign. Was transfer, came in, had a great game against Indiana, but they need Luke Altmaier to come through. And then defensively, frankly, we don't know because they've lost 4 top 3 round draft picks in the last 2 years.
Yeah,
that's a big deal. And those guys are all good, all prominent, all important. They don't have those guys. So give me maybe Gabe Yakas, who was playing, he's here this year, could come through. He'd be one. There's the defensive backs that you haven't seen a lot. They could be good players, but really it's kind of up to offense has to get it going early and see what happens there. Another guy I should mention, Caden Fagan, running back whose dad a long time ago played at Illinois. He had a really nice start last year, then got banged up, missed the rest of the season. He's a guy that I think could have a nice year.
Have they settled on a style offensively and kind of what they want to be, tempo, like all things considered? Have they kind of figured out over the first couple years here what they want to be offensively from a style standpoint?
Well, I think the head coach dictates that. He wants to run the ball. He wants to, and Chase Brown was great to do it with him because he could do that. But they want to run the ball predominantly. I don't think they want to, I don't think it has to be a 70-30 mix of run to pass. I think they want to be at least balanced. But I think running the ball is critical for him. But it allows him his defense to be off the field more. You have less trouble when you have the ball a lot. So I think his ideal is run the ball, have a great offensive line, which he had at Wisconsin. They, keep the ball in your hands and keep the team away from keep the defense away from the field. That's the way to work. That's what they want it to be, a run team.
The as far as the big picture, like expectation for a season, you mentioned it, how not much changes kind of from a year to, you don't really know what to expect going into it. You look at the schedule, you put it all together. I mean, is this your thinking at the beginning of the year, like, hey, let's get to a bowl? If they can get to a bowl, that would be nice, and go from there. I guess, how are you sort of approaching the season as a whole?
That's what I was saying. They need to, the bottom line, get to a bowl, because they didn't last year. And every year they don't go to a bowl here. Obviously there's some advantages in terms of extra practices. It's just the feeling of it. There's a lot of bowls. It should be like in the phone book, right? Or there's not phone books anymore, but like usually like in the book. So there's a lot of bowls. You should be able to make a bowl. You should be able to win 6 games if you're at Illinois, but they haven't been able to do that routinely. So to me, that's a bottom line. I'm looking really at 5-7. So I think 5-7 again would be a disappointment for Illinois, but that's where, to me, the schedule looks like they're going to go.
Bob Asmussen of the Champaign News-Gazette joins us live from Big Ten Media Days in Indianapolis. Bob, we'll let you get back to it. Appreciate you doing this as always, and we'll talk to you in mid to late September.
That sounds good. Look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
There he goes, Bob Asmussen of the Champaign News-Gazette. That schedule is a bear. Kansas at home. I don't know. I definitely believe in Kansas more than I do Illinois. Right. Those are two programs that maybe were in the same place 3 years ago, but Kansas has accelerated a little quickly. Going to Nebraska for a raucous environment on a Friday night, going to Penn State right after that, getting Michigan, going to Oregon. I don't know what to make of Minnesota this year. Going to Rutgers, Michigan State's on there too. You still get Purdue. I don't know, man. And then non-cons against Eastern Illinois and Central Michigan, and then of course Kansas.
Gonna have to surprise some people.
Yeah, that feels like best case scenario 6, and I don't even know if I could find them.
Hard to find.
Yeah, but this is Nebraska and Illinois. Let's go back. I'm thinking about when these two teams, the time in the season in which these two teams have played each other. It always feels like it's September, and then it kind of goes the other way for whichever team, loses the game, right? So, last year it was October 6th. The year before, I remember this was the Matt Rule was in town to watch game.
The secret game.
The State and Trev basement game. That was the 29th. So that was late October, 29th of October. But it was a beautiful day. August.
What sold him on coming here.
And then November. And then September, November, September, October. It's okay. Never mind. My theory was incorrect. I always felt I just feel like this is
I was vibing with you.
This always sits as an early season conference game of like, all right, I don't really know what Illinois is, but you kind of know to watch out for them. Because you should watch out for everybody. Yeah.
Brett Bielema coach team.
But it just hasn't really, last year was a big pothole for them. It hasn't really progressed the way that I mean, you didn't have to win 10 last year, but it looks sloppy and messy, and they always feel like a team that is bit by injuries, and it just kind of gets really bumpy on them. It seems like every year. So
it's a bunch of slow guys with 2 knee braces.
But they've been explosive too. Like, I mean, think about that. All those first and second round draft picks the last 2 years. My God.
Yeah. Okay,
Chase Brown and Witherspoon and Newton and Williams. I believe those are all top 2 or 3 round guys. What the number that he just said. Mm-hmm. Witherspoon was a top 10 pick. 10. Brown was a second rounder. Played last year a little bit for the Bengals. Like, those guys are good players, and so they should be theoretically more explosive. Haven't really been. Can't buy them. Can't buy that stock this year, Josh. Can't do it.
It feels like they got the right coach. Now they got to get the right players.
Yeah, and I
if
think
you haven't yet,
the goal with the coach is to be like, all right, we're going to have down years, but you're going to stick with us. And so keep building it. And then hopefully one year we can pop into that 10 range and the schedule lines up and we make the playoff or something like that.
Let me find a bunch of lunch pail guys.
I think that's kind of the program that they are. Quick timeout. We'll come back. Remember, Jacob Bigelow will join us at the top of the hour. Wanted to come on the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Let's get back to the Connor Happer Show on 1620 The Zone.
Here comes the clown.
All right, Jacob Bigelow will join us in a couple minutes. He's got some stuff coming up with his podcast. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, we'll let him tell you about it.
Consider me teased.
My boy Shiano's up there spreading the good word of Rutgers football.
FTC.
Josh, let's
you want it?
Jake Butt's asking him a long question here, but
standpoint, and what does his leadership do?
Oh, this will be the perfect question
he's
for
a
him.
special young man. I mean, you're talking about a guy that could have gone to any of the Ivy League schools. Right?
Talking about
and
Kyle Monungai.
Decided he was going to play, wanted to play at the highest level, and came to the Big Ten. And his high school coach, truth be told, I wasn't sold on Kyle coming out of high school. His high school coach told me, Greg, you need to. Dan Sabella, Don Bosco High School, said, you need to give this kid a chance. And I'm really glad I listened to him because he's special.
The high school
Let's
coach
go.
sometimes knows a thing or two.
Kyle
Yeah,
Manungai,
you got that right.
the only guy to run for 1,000 yards last year in the
last
Big Ten.
year.
Shut up, Dave.
Doesn't matter if you pot him down, he keeps talking.
I am all the way in on this guy, man.
You are high on Rutgers.
I am. I'm going to whip myself into a frenzy.
I don't want to, I don't want to spoil the morning show, but how high did you have Rutgers?
Well,
on your list,
I can.
If
I can get that answer for you.
While you get that, let me tell the audience: the morning show is putting together their own Mornings with Sharp and Hanley.
We'll release it on Twitter.
Yeah, but they're putting together their own media poll, so to speak, of the.
I would say all of us together. Now, I guess Nick is really doing the work here.
The yokels that work here in this building, and we've been asked to rank all the teams 1 through 18, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I think Rutgers came in the actual preseason media poll 9th, I want to say.
That's below Nebraska.
It is. Just below.
People forget.
I had Rutgers above Nebraska in my conference selection.
Whoa.
I had them at 6th.
6th, huh?
6th. Rutgers time, baby.
This preview that I'm looking at has them at 10th. Not a believer.
10th is fine. 10th would be a fine finish. Like, you could win 8 games and finish 10th.
I feel like 6 through 12 are going to be about the same team.
That was about the tier that I thought as well. Somebody's going to end up at the top. And a lot of times, you could apply the old Big Ten West logic to it. Who were your crossovers? In this case, everyone is your crossover. So it's just about your schedule and what you get socked with. Rutgers got nothing. I love their schedule. I love what they're doing on offense. It's a physical program. I think it's a team that's built to win some games this year. Anyway, enough about that. But I am quite high on them. In case you couldn't tell, let's check in. Brett McMurphy, our dear friend, is known for wishing coaches happy birthday.
Yeah,
he's going to various media days.
Good bit.
This morning, he wished congratulations on Twitter.
Oh,
kind of went out of the comfort zone.
Okay, sure.
Congratulations to Texas assistant Jeff Banks and Danielle Thomas. They were married on Saturday.
That's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
They were married, and it's really nice. It looked like a great ceremony. Who are these people? Well, we know that Jeff is an assistant at Texas. Danielle goes by another name sometimes, occasionally as well.
Oh, a moniker.
Yeah, that is because in her other life, she's a dancer.
Oh,
she's a dancer.
Ballet, step.
No. Pole.
Oh, exotic.
She's on the pole. Yes. And she goes by the pseudonym Pole Assassin.
I'm familiar.
Now is that ringing a bell?
Absolutely.
In 2021, there was a lawsuit that alleged Pole Assassin's pet monkey bit a child in Jeff Banks' backyard on Halloween.
What a Mad Libs of a sentence.
Of course, that was when we became aware of this person and her nickname, Pole Assassin, and her career, her stage name. But this story's got a happy ending. Jeff and Danielle, Mrs. Assassin, they were wed on Saturday evening.
Made an honest woman out of Pole Assassin.
They really did. Yeah.
I said it couldn't be done.
Texas is
all the way back.
All the way in the SEC. I mean, this is incredible stuff. I want to get there were definitely more stories that were written about this during the period. Okay, now I'm pulling up a Daily Mail story from 2021. It was apparently her emotional support monkey.
Always is.
Pole assassin, real name Danielle Thomas, is the owner of a 7-year-old whiteface monkey named Gia. Thomas's boyfriend, Jeff Banks, a University of Texas football coach, is believed to have left his wife, Corey, and 3 children for her. On Halloween, Thomas invited neighborhood children round to her home to explore the haunted house in her yard. A child apparently went out of the party area and into the backyard where Gia, the monkey, lived in a cage, and the monkey bit the child. Pole assassin angrily defended her emotional support monkey on social media and then deleted all of her accounts.
Sad.
At the time, Banks was rumored to be in talks to take the head job at Washington State.
Wazoo.
Remember, because their coach did not get the vax. What a time 2021 was.
Wild.
Happer's meme guy writes in, poll question, did he make an honest woman out of pole assassin? What do you think about that? Now, that would damage our reputation as far as horny shows are concerned.
It would.
And I'm not interested in that.
No.
I need to keep that reputation sparkly. Clean. Very clean.
Going to abstain.
Tiger Shark Diver writes in.
Hi, Tiger Shark Diver.
Nothing wrong with a little monkey biting. I just wanted to, we finally closed the loop on that story.
After years.
Years and years and years, we finally closed the loop on that story.
Now, do you think the monkey brought them, the monkey biting story brought them closer together?
Well,
or do you think it pulled them apart and they had to circle back to each other?
When they said 7-year-old monkey, I was a little concerned. How old do monkeys go?
Right.
How long are monkeys expected to live? I hope the monkey's still with us. It's been 4 years.
Monkey life expectancy, 20 to 40 years old.
Okay, so unless something has happened with Gia the monkey, Gia the monkey was probably in attendance at the wedding. I did not see Gia the monkey in the photo. Maybe I'll look a little closer. Maybe she had to ditch the emotional support monkey after the whole child biting incident.
I mean, if a dog bites a child, generally the dog has to
pay the consequences.
Go bye-bye.
Yeah.
So yes,
go to the farm.
I would expect there are less humane rules for monkeys.
But there they are. Everybody's doing horns up in the wedding photo, including Pole Assassin and Coach Banks and Steve Sarkisian. He's there. Horns it up all the time. Congratulations to the lovely new couple. Text in from Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
It's truly a Mad Libs kind of story. Also, Jeff had a text before that I wanted to get to as well. Says, random but favorite Media Days story was my dear friend Brett Kane getting shamed by PJ Fleck for drinking soda pop. That's true. It was the year that PJ Fleck was talking to everybody.
So PJ Fleck.
We were sitting out there in the hallway, and my dear friend Brett, who's now in Denver, decided that he was going to sip on, I believe, a wild cherry Pepsi, or maybe a diet wild cherry Pepsi. It was something that was admittedly insane. And he was on a kick where he wasn't drinking pop, but it was the only thing that he could find. So he went with the wild cherry Pepsi. And here comes PJ Fleck around, and he looks at that can of pop, and he goes, and this is on the air. He goes, "Hey, that stuff will kill you." He's like, "You got to stay away from that stuff. That stuff will kill you." And he had to explain him the whole story. He's like, "I know, I just couldn't find anything else. I only had wild cherry Pepsi." So PJ Fleck did shame former local radio host Brett Kane that day. And he agreed. He's like, I know, coach. I shouldn't have done that. All right, quick timeout. Jacob Bigelow will join us on the other side. He'll tell you what's coming up on his pod. We'll get into a variety of other things as well. I have no idea. Now, Jack is on vacation. I have no idea how the stupid softball team did last night. I
haven't heard.
I think it's a double elimination. I feel like they lost. But they're still alive.
Are you just...
I don't know. There wasn't a huge celebration on social media.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with. All right, back after this on 1620 The Zone.
heating up. That's the country song, right? Remember when?
Thank you.
Jacob Bigelow.
Yeah. Whenever my open is concocted, throw that in there.
He's on fire! Jacob Bigelow, Huskers Illustrated, on the Connor Happer Show, on 1620, The Zone.
Boom shakalaka!
All right, we're back, and we welcome in our good friend Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated in the Stretch Big podcast. Joining us now, the 42 Degrees The Source hotline. Hi, Jacob.
Hello, Happer. How are you doing today?
Good. All right, so let's get the softball part out of the way first. So you're the 1 seed in the bad bracket. It's got pushed back multiple weeks, and you lost last night, but you're still not out. You still have a chance. Is this correct? What do you need to win the championship?
This is correct. It is a double elimination tournament. We lost last night 12-6. Now we are back at it next Monday at 6 against the team that we beat in the first round of the tournament. And then if we were to win that game, we would play the team we lost to last night again. And we would have to beat them twice to win this championship, which would mean there's a possibility of a triple header at Mahoney Park next Monday night for the Jack Mitchell softball experience.
So you would have been really in the catbird seat had you won last night.
Yes, we would have. Would have been a lot fewer miles at stake for everyone's legs next week if we had just won last night. But it wouldn't. As Jack said when he FaceTimed us from his vacation after the game last night, that did happen. He said it would have been too simple for us to just win the championship and not lose. And to not have a little more adversity to overcome. So
Jack is in a cabin in the woods somewhere, and he's still watching your guys' softball game, and he's still caring about Bobby Witt Jr. almost getting the cycle and getting hit last night. I'm getting texts from Jack. He's not on vacation at all. He's just not here. It's incredible.
It sure seems like it. He still had his softball jersey on the FaceTime last night when he called. He was still dialed in on both of his teams, the softball team with his name on it and with the Kansas City Royals. So he was still pretty locked in last night.
Fantastic. Thank you for bringing this to our attention this morning. I was just assuming that the Big Ten had decided where they were going to play their basketball tournament this season and probably next. Turns out that's not the case, which only enhances the possibility that we could be headed westward for the Big Ten basketball tournament. It's an event that they are certainly not afraid to put anywhere, which, and Tony Petiti talked today about them moving events around and things like that. What do you think the odds are that the Big Ten basketball tournament this year is west of the Missouri River?
I think there may be a good chance. Obviously only me, the anointed basketball sicko, would see a quote from Big Ten Media Days about, I think we may move some other Big Ten events west. And I go, funny you should say that, Tony, because the Big Ten basketball tournaments haven't had their locations announced yet for this year, and it's August. So I went back and I found an interview with now former Ohio State Athletic Director Gene Smith that was published on Cleveland.com because Columbus wanted to bid for the Big Ten tournament.
Sure, they did.
And the list of it said the list of cities that bid for the next bid cycle was Chicago and Indianapolis, Minneapolis, where it was the past year, Detroit, Columbus, Ohio, and Vegas. One of those cities is not like the others. There's now an opening at the big arena in Las Vegas, now the conference tournament week, now that the Pac-12 doesn't exist. So I'm not ruling it out, and it's quite peculiar that it's almost August, and basketball season is definitely on the back burner of most people's brains. But we don't know where media days for basketball is going to be, and we don't know where the conference tournaments are going to be, and it's almost August.
Oh yeah, they'll have to pick a media day spot too. That'll be interesting. I mean, have fun going to Los Angeles in October.
Yeah, sounds definitely not hot. Yeah, no, not hot and no traffic at all. That's no place I would rather go than yeah. Big Ten basketball media day. Maybe it'll be at the Clippers' new palace.
Oh,
the Intuit,
definitely.
The Intuit Dome.
Yeah.
Big Ten basketball media day is at the Intuit Dome coming soon.
Or they just do it at the Rose Bowl and just go full into their football roots. They're like, you know what? We'll just see at midfield at the Rose Bowl. UCLA doesn't care, so we could just put it here.
something like that. The Big Ten loves those San Gabriel Mountain sunsets so much. That's when they set up basketball media days at the Rose Bowl. I could see it.
Speaking of basketball here, I don't know, maybe one or two more on the sport in general. So I've been having a difficult time. I'm sure you've been watching it because you were the aforementioned basketball sicko. What do we make of the United States of America not looking very impressive in these exhibition games against countries they should be destroying?
It's hard to not at least be a little worried, right? Because we've seen at the end. I mean, they are exhibition games, but it's there's still some things that bring me a little cause for concern. I think. Please save us 40-year-old LeBron is not going to be a viable option in crunch time and big time Olympic games. I'm still a little, there's the weirdness of the Joel Embiid fit with this group that I still like. It doesn't look great when he's out there on the court. I think there are some lineups I like. There's some lineups I really don't like, but I mean, in these last two games, I mean, like I said, they're exhibition games, but just the lack of attentiveness on defense, you can usually tell how locked in a team is, and this is one of the more sicko things you'll ever hear me say. You can tell how locked in a team is just based on closeouts, on perimeter shots.
Definitely.
And especially in that South Sudan game, it was lackadaisical, not really, and obviously, people have talked at length about how the world game has changed in basketball, but the three is worth more than two. Steph Curry taught everybody that, and 3-point shooting is a lot more accessible. So I mean, you gotta defend the perimeter, and that's just wasn't the best effort in either of the last two games against Germany and South Sudan.
Oh, certainly. I think I agree with you. It seems like a little bit of a mix of both at this point. You could expect them to lock in a little bit more, but also not everything's going to be a walk in the park from them as we get closer and closer to the Olympics here. Okay, let me get a football take or two from you here. So everybody's giving out their prognostications and previews. You're just as interested in Husker football as anybody else is. We don't get to ask you football questions that much. What's your general vibe and feeling on that group this year and how they might place in the gigantic conference that they're in?
I mean, I think they were pegged about right, in the unofficial, official media poll, around there. I thought that was about right. And there's clearly some palpable enthusiasm and some momentum moving in the right direction. And I think that starts with the head coach. Obviously, that starts with Matt Rule and his track record, and he has stood firm in his talking points since he first got here. It sounds like he's stuck to them all, and I think he knows what he wants his program to be. And we saw glimpses of that in year one, but that year one is year one. But moving into year two, I think there's some things to like. There's still some things that I have questions about, but I think the bar. I mean, the bar for quarterback play this year isn't on the floor. It's 6 feet underground, so it should be pretty. I mean, to be able to see improvement there is going to be the first step, and then obviously everything they bring back on defense is reason to like what you see on paper. So there's palpable reason for some positivity, and I know people are itching for a winner, and I think it'll be a big step in the right direction this coming season.
Okay, all right. Football question. We checked the box there. You're also movie buff. Was Twisters good? Give me the elevator pitch for actually getting me to the movie theaters to see this Twisters movie.
I think Twisters checks like all the boxes you need for like a summer blockbuster, and it's a fun movie. Like if you're expecting some sophisticated, hard-hitting cinema from a movie about tornadoes that's cast with a bunch of very attractive people, then I don't know what to tell you. But it's a fun movie from start to finish. It follows some of the very same beats of the original movie in terms of, turning trauma into triumph and that sort of thing. I won't go into spoilers, but it follows some of the similar beats. But it's got everything. It's got the visuals. It's got some charm. It's got a little bit of romance. It's got a damn good original soundtrack too. I mean, it checks all the boxes for me, and it was really fun from start to finish. And I enjoyed splurging for the IMAX ticket to see it, and that's what I would say. Go see it on the biggest screen you want to go see it on, because I think it was very, very enjoyable.
I have seen some videos. Apparently, they have movie theaters now that like the chairs shake when there's loud noises that happen. Like that seems maybe possibly too immersive for me. I'm not sure that I would want that.
No, I don't. Yeah, I think that's the 40X. The 40X.
That's
theaters.
it. Yes,
I've heard about those. I've never win this one, but yeah, I think that would be a little too like Disney World Tower of Terror.
Yes,
for me,
nice,
especially in a movie about tornadoes. But I mean, I think there's definitely people who would think that'd be a ton of fun though. So I will not yuck anybody's movie yum.
Hey, before we let you go, what do you? I know you got some big plans for the pod this summer and heading into the fall. What do you have cooking up over there? What's he building in there?
Yeah, what's he building in there? I've alluded to it with you these last couple of weeks. I've been trying to scratch the basketball itch, and I figured why not, fire up the podcast for a little summer old friends catch up series. So in the coming weeks, gonna have an episode with Ball State head coach Michael Lewis, former Nebraska assistant under Coach Miles, who I got to work with, and then also Colorado State associate head coach Ollie Farukmanesh, another former Nebraska staffer, Northern Iowa tournament hero, 15 years ago now. But two of the best guys I know, two of the best guys I've gotten to work with. It'll be good to catch up with those guys, get some content out there, and then got some other stuff in the hopper for later this summer, and we're going to try to do it big with the pod this coming season. So
awesome.
Look for that wherever you get your podcast. There's going to be some fun stuff coming soon.
Awesome, man. Looking forward to it. Appreciate you taking the time as always, and we'll talk next week.
Yep. Talk to you soon, Happer. Have a good one.
That is Jacob Bigelow of Huskers Illustrated. In the Stretch Big Pod. Those would be good. Those would be good conversations. Just a couple dudes hanging out, talking ball. Yeah. Michael Lewis, definitely a good guy to just talk ball with. Ollie Farukmanesh, good guy to just talk ball with. Ollie Farukmanesh, remember when you made that shot against Kansas? That'd be the whole podcast for me.
Yeah.
That was cool.
What more do you need?
What more do you need? By the way, before the interview, Steve tweeted into the show.
Hi, Steve.
Hey, guys, are we getting to that Caitlin Clark thing today? Interesting question. I don't know if we'll have time. There's just not much time left.
Not a lot of segments left in the show.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe if we have a minute or two, we'll get to that Caitlin Clark thing.
Maybe.
Maybe tomorrow, maybe some point the rest of the week. And then I'm gone, Then I'll be gone, and so then it'll be August. And
we've teased it so long. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it without you.
Set your calendar to mid to late August. We might get to that Caitlin Clark thing. I did hear about the All-Star game ratings, though. Only up 300%. Pretty weak.
Ooh. Is she not the draw she used to be?
All right,
951-1620.
Back after this on 1620 The Zone. TNT Sports, Turner, has informed the NBA that it plans to use its matching rights to continue broadcasting the league games. The network is targeting the 11-year package signed by Amazon Prime Video. Sources briefed on the move said. This is from Andrew Marchand. Yesterday, TNT put a very angry statement out.
Ooh.
Did you see this?
No.
Oh yeah, it was pretty funny. It's another one of those that was in a graphic and it was very hard to read.
Always is.
Always is. Gosh, what Twitter account did that come from? Turner PR? Turner
Probably.
Sports PR? Something like that. Whatever it might be. Let's see if it pops up right away. Well, you might be able to find it out there. And they were like, hey, we're mad. We're mad at the NBA because we think they did something wrong here. TNT has the contractual right to match an offer per its current contract. The NBA is expected to decline the network's right to take the agreed upon Amazon package. Sources briefed on the NBA plan said the league's preference is to honor the $1.8 billion per year contract it agreed to with Amazon. Basically, they said, all right, Amazon bought the rights that TNT had. We're going to take that. TNT said, hey, you have to listen to us. We're matching this.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, actually, no, thank you. We're going to do the Amazon thing. This is expected to lead to many court cases and legal hagglings over the next several weeks and months. Marchand writes, TNT's intention to go after Amazon means that NBC is in the clear to join the incumbent ABC ESPN as a new partner when the deals are officially announced. NBC will have regular season games exclusively streamed on Peacock on Mondays, with NBC broadcasts on Tuesdays and Sundays. That's why John Tesh has made his way back to Nashville to re-record Round Ball Rock. The Sunday package of NBA games will begin after the NFL season. The NBC will have the All-Star Game.
Whoa.
And a full slate of playoff games, including 6 conference finals games. It is expected to pay around $2.5 billion per season over the next 11 years.
6 conference finals games?
6 conference finals, I apologize.
Oh,
6
okay.
conference finals.
Okay. I was going to say, don't split up don't make me search for the conference finals.
No, it's on one is on one network and the other one's on the
yes.
ESPN will retain the NBA finals and some conference finals.
Sure.
While paying $2.6 billion a year, which is a shade less than the $2.7 billion a year it pays the NFL for Monday Night Football and other rights.
So if I'm Adam Silver,
Mr. Silver,
I have gotten
Commissioner Silvers.
I've gotten more money from more places.
Correct.
And now I have a decision
You've done your
to make.
fiduciary duty.
Yes. Now I have the same offer, right? One from Amazon Prime, one from TNT, right?
Yes.
One of those has Inside the NBA and the other does not. One is on television. The other kind of isn't. Let's be honest with ourselves here. Why are we picking Amazon? Just because they put in the bid first?
The NBA's
seems short-sighted.
I would agree with you. An NBA spokesperson said the league received the proposal and was reviewing it. Amazon declined to comment. The NBA's agreement with Prime Video calls for the streamer to have 6 conference finals, a full playoff slate, including the play-in games and a regular season package, highlighted by the in-season tournament and Thursday night basketball after Amazon concludes its Thursday night football responsibilities. How TNT versus the NBA all plays out has countless unanswered questions. TNT, with its vaunted Inside the NBA studio show, will try to enforce a reluctant partner to stay in business with it. TNT Sports parent company CEO Warner Bros. Discovery's David Zaslav has raised possibility for months, which has allowed the league to strategize about the move. Now, they could reach an agreement that keeps TNT in the NBA or gives it some sort of financial settlement to go away, but they're taking the Amazon deal. I would agree. That was kind of my whole point here as well. Are we sure? Are we sure that it's a good idea? And here's what's happening right now, and this is not just in the NBA. This is in the sports media rights world in general. The streaming companies, the companies, the major conglomerates that do have established streaming services, I should say. Some are streaming companies, I suppose, Netflix, Amazon. But we're talking about places that have established streaming platforms, apps that people have. They are paying like way more than they need to be for these rights. They are blowing these leagues away with the offers, and that's exactly what the leagues are looking for. They're like, yes, we love what we have right now. That's what the leagues are saying. And this is not just the NBA. I'm saying this in a more general way. We love what we have. We can get paid, continue to get paid money forever and ever and ever and ever until eternity from TNT or if it's college football like Fox and ESPN, whatever it might be. Like, we will do this forever and ever in the NFL. But then the streaming company comes in and Netflix is like, we'll pay you $100 billion for one Christmas game. And they're like, hell yes, I love that idea. And then that opens the door to so many other things.
This morning, Peacock reported quarterly losses of $348 million in a quarter of a year. They have lost $348 million as their subscribers have dipped to 33 million people.
What do we got? I'm not a financial expert here, but this is not sustainable.
It will never turn a profit.
So we're at this weird breaking point of like, what do the consumers want? And the streaming company, the places with streaming services are saying, well, we want to put these things on streaming and we're going to pay out the butt to put it on streaming. But it's been difficult for them to acquire the numbers that have come through on what they thought they were going to get in terms of membership and subscriptions to these things, aside from the NFL, I think, have been lower than they've expected. It'll be the same thing that happens with college football. It'll continue to happen with college football this fall. More games will be on Peacock and Paramount Plus and all those stuff. In Nebraska, you really don't have to deal with that much because most of those games are on network television or cable at least.
Because you're a brand, baby.
You're a brand. And once again, bless up. Thanks for being a brand, Nebraska. It's really nice. But I don't think those. I think those have come in way under estimation, and I don't know where. I don't know if this is even real anymore.
It's all funny money, right?
I guess so.
Yes.
But why are they pouring all this money into this stuff that clearly is not catching the way that streaming is the next big thing? You have, and here's one thing that has been true. If you are one of these places, if you are one of these networks, you have to have a streaming platform that exists and is established. Mm-hmm. You can't be doing this to acquire subscriptions because that's when you end up paying out the butt and the subscription numbers come in low. So if you're not established already, that's why Netflix is in such a good position.
Definitely.
Everybody's
got it.
Netflix can pay however many $1 billion they want to acquire whatever they want. Everybody's got it.
Amazon.
Everybody's got it the same way they got ABC, basically.
Right. Prime paid $1 billion for its Lord of the Rings show. I've never heard anyone talk about it.
No.
Not a single
Apple
person.
TV Plus, all these original stuff on there. It's just I don't know.
Apple this week said, "Look, we're not going to crank out show after show after show like we've been doing it because we're in 0.2% of homes."
I'll say it again. Doesn't it behoove the leagues at some point to be like, actually, we like it when people watch us.
Yeah, we'd like to be seen.
Yeah. So odd.
But money.
Yeah, and I'm getting a couple messages now like, if they throw it, like you said, it's funny money. If they throw in a couple extra $1 billion for NBA rights for a company that makes hundreds of times that a year, then What's the big deal?
Amazon can afford the losses for the clout of having NBA
Absolutely.
and NFL games.
But what I'm saying is, I think it's incumbent upon the leagues to decide, like, look, this doesn't do us any good.
That's why I said, if the offers are the same, if the offers are identical,
right,
you got to go where the eyeballs are and the show everyone loves.
And Amazon, there was some shenanigans, and this is why it's going to court. Amazon said, okay, we'll do the contract, and we're going to pay you all this extra money up front,
right?
In order to sway TNT away, because they're not as cash rich as Amazon is, because nobody in the world is.
It's like two people bidding for a house, and the guy's like, "I'll give you $10,000 cash right now for a down payment."
Exactly. Bezos could have paid for the NBA rights with the money in his wallet right now. Stupid. I don't know. I don't like it. Well, at least we get Round Ball Rock back.
You had Round Ball Rock.
Back after this with the polls. Tell you what to watch on 1620 The Zone. To the polls at Happer Show and to the memes, where you can find Josh holding up signs that you definitely could definitely, if you're interested, could white out and change to a different thing.
No, you don't need to do that. The memes are perfect as they are. You will be concerned at some point during an NFL football game or a college football game, and you will want my sign out there.
The one that says concern is going to be quite useful.
Yes, because as you said it perfectly, 14-0 second quarter.
Uh-oh, I have concern. To the polls at Happer Show. Is the fist bump the Dogecoin of DAP? This is a low-key pretty good one,
Yeah,
Josh.
I thought you were onto something with that.
I'm saying yes. It got really hot there for a minute and then kind of plummeted. We are currently at 50-50. Can't agree on nothing around here.
Your vote matters.
And only one other poll today. Could Tom Hanks have played Clark Griswold? I actually had to think about this for a long time. And the answer I came to was, of course, yes.
I think he could have.
Yeah,
I mean, it would have been a little different.
He's got, maybe not in, 1990, whatever that was in.
Vegas Vacation.
When did Christmas Vacation come out? Like, was it late 80s or early 90s?
Christmas Vacation was early 80s. Late 80s, right?
Well, yeah. When did...
89.
Okay, so when did Regular Vacation come out?
Regular Vacation.
Like, just
I don't
National Lampoon's Vacation.
Yeah.
Shut
83.
83?
Uh-huh.
God, that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's great.
Incredible movie. So obviously you couldn't have done it in 83, but like Tom Hanks, if they wanted to redo Vacation 10 years ago, which they did, I guess, with what's his name? Andy from The Office. What is that guy's name? Ed Helms.
2015.
Yeah, 10 years ago.
Ed Helms.
My answer is yes. I'm going with yes. 56% say no.
Oh.
Surprising. I would urge you to think about that a little bit more. Go revote at Happer Show. All right, those are the polls. Josh, what are we watching tonight?
We're watching baseball for like the 7,000th time this season. The Mets are playing the Yankees.
So many interleague games.
At first,
please kill me.
The first time you introduced, I know we got to get out of here. But the first time you introduced that there's too much interleague take, I was like, I don't know. I kind of like playing every team, but I feel like the Mets and Yankees play once every other week.
Nothing makes sense.
You can watch it 6:00 on TBS. Angels Mariners 8:40 tonight. MLB TV free game of the day. They are tied with the Houston Astros, who are in Oakland tonight. Same time, ESPN Plus. Giants and Dodgers 9:00 on MLB Network. It is not on national television, but if you are a subscriber to MLB TV, it is Paul Skeens Day in the Berg. Pirates host the Cardinals at 5:40.
Nick's feeling something.
That's right. There is an Olympic exhibition again today. Team USA versus Germany. This time it's the women's turn for an Olympic tune-up. Find out how they do against Germany in a couple minutes. 2:00 FS1.
What's the line on that? I bet it's probably about 40.
104. Johnny Fanta on the call there.
Johnny Fanta. Hell yes.
In London town.
Can I do all right, keep going.
Okay. 8:00 HBO. It's Hard Knocks off season with the New York Giants. The Giants face the biggest decision of the offseason with the 6th pick on draft day. Where will they go?
Where I wonder what they'll do.
8:00 on MTV. It is the season 2 premiere of The Surreal Life. Singer Macy Gray, remember her?
Yeah.
Chet Hanks.
All right. Kind of a drug guy, though, right?
Kind of a drug guy. Kind of a D-bag.
Yeah.
Johnny Weir and Jose Canseco move into the villa in Colombia. We've put Chet Hanks in Colombia.
That sounds like a great plan.
And finally, I missed this yesterday, but on Netflix, the latest in the Ghostbusters series, Frozen Empire, is available for you to stream.
The USA women are minus 3,500 to win the gold. Wow. God knows what they might be tonight. It's an exhibition, though, so I don't think you can really bet on that. Thank you, Josh.
Thank you, Connor.
That is what we're watching tonight, and that is the show. If you missed anything, you can find it all at 1620thezone.com. Tomorrow, we'll have Matt Rule's press conference. We'll have the tweet bag, and it's all to come on 1620 The Zone.